it for you. I love you. Be brave. I left money in the bank for the funeral. The card is in the drawer. You know the code. Keep the podcast for yourself. Now, I'm choosing not to do a Scottish accent.
I was literally about to say.
Because it's typed.
Yeah.
It is typed and I don't think you have a perfect Scottish accent.
Oh, really? Is that
maybe you do? Maybe you do. Maybe
I wrote it for you. I love you. Be brave.
Right now it sounds like it's from like the 17th century.
I left money in the bank for the funeral. The card is in the drawer. Do you know the code?
Ben, you said you wanted
ogres
Griffin.
are like onions.
We'll introduce the podcast one
Keep
second.
the podcast for yourself.
Ben, you said you wanted Griffin to do some clickety-clack keyboard stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but I feel like that's a post job.
And I said, well, you could put that in. You said, I miss those little keyboards. Well, remember when I had the clickety-clack keyboard in COVID and you guys were like, David, we can't hear a single thing you're saying because clickety-clackety-clack anytime you Google something.
There is a reason we complained about that. It was because it sucked.
Yes, I think it was fair if you complained about it. I'm joking.
Well, it's also because in this movie, there's a little bit of clickety-clack. When you were using your keyboard, it was kind of a little bit more
sometimes
like,
I'm looking at something. How dare you? I'm sure it was very... It
sounded like a damn room of monkeys using a typewriter.
No, it was like honey going over a waterfall.
We cannot overstate how loud and persistent
it was. One of those like COVID things where you're
metal machine music.
You're in COVID. I don't know if you remember this guest who I suppose this in speaking.
Do you remember COVID? I don't know if you remember that.
Wait, what?
COVID, the novel coronavirus.
Where you suddenly are like, I think I need to buy something this week to so that the wolves don't bark at the door. And then like you go on like Wirecut or whatever, and they're like, you know what rocks is a mechanical keyboard, and you're like, maybe that will bring me joy.
I think I got a similar keyboard during.
And you get one, and you're like, clack, clack, clack. This is fun.
Yeah,
and you realize you do a podcast.
Wirecutter said, note, not for professional podcasters.
Right. I mean, you don't have a directional mic situation.
I do. I think they were just hearing it honestly more than anyone else. Yeah, I think it was quite distracting.
Types a lot, and we cannot overstate how loud it was.
He's always got to Google a thing or two.
I think you guys might not even remember the early days of COVID. We didn't even have our now fired researcher, JJ Bursch. And so I was still like Googling like, what happened in Back to the Future?
It was so tough. We'd wake up every morning and be like, I wish I had someone to fire.
Wait, did you fired?
We fired
him
JJ
every week.
a couple times a week. It's a bit we've stolen from Doughboys. I realized this. It took too long for me to realize it.
I don't think I know, because I think I was the one initially doing it. If I stole it from Doughboys, it was subconscious.
I think it's I don't think it's. I think much like
I just fired it because JJ, he just kind of grinds my gears, and I want him out of this.
Well, he's bad at his job.
I
And
want him to leave
stopped.
the company.
Yeah.
Does he listen to the podcast?
Obsessively, he's like our biggest fan.
Has he heard your notes? Because he should shape
He
up.
will text us 5 times within the first minute of this episode.
Wait, what was the Doughboys bit? Who were they firing?
They were firing Song all the time.
Oh, right.
I don't think we're consciously
it would be like
That's old school.
Yeah, that's old school. But then Song was dead, I feel like.
The ghost of Song.
Right, yeah.
I was just going to say, do you remember when we did the King cast and we did that on Riverside where we weren't on Zoom? There was no
right. I think Ben wasn't. Were you even participating in that? You probably spared that nightmare of.
It was just David and I.
Guest spot. Yeah. Not the show. The show's great. It was just the nightmare of the technical nonsense.
Like 40 minutes into the episode, I think it was the dearly departed Scott Wampler who went, I'm sorry, David, what the fuck is happening? Because of the mechanical keyboard. He couldn't see it. And it was just like 40 minutes.
Scott, a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
The best.
A wonderful man who did many great things.
In his
Top of the list was calling out your bullshit. One of his finest works.
What's this podcast, Griffin?
This podcast is called Blank Check with Griffin and David. I'm Griffin.
I'm David.
It's a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their careers and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. Sometimes those checks clear and sometimes they bounce. Baby, this is a mini-series I've been wanting to do for so long.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite living filmmakers.
Mm-hmm. I feel like years ago, we're basically kind of like, her next movie, shake hands, whatever it is, we're doing her. We're knocking her out.
Well, that would have been, 7 years ago? So
You Were Never Really Here is 2017.
Yeah.
And it's basically, when I see that, I'm like, I'm calling it next one.
Yeah.
And she basically works on a once every 7 years clip, kind of. This is a miniseries called We Need to Post About Cap.
You can do it.
This is a mini-series called We Need to Pod About Castvin.
There you go.
See, if you didn't trip over it the first time, and you would know it wasn't a good miniseries.
Exactly.
Name.
That you need
there
the
you go.
struggle.
Yeah.
That's what these movies are about. They're about working through struggle. Or I'd say that we're accurately about staying in the struggle.
This is called We Need to Pod About Castvin.
We need to
There you
pod
go.
about Castvin.
Mm-hmm.
And we do.
We do. We do.
Urgently.
Yes.
Later.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that next week. Talk about a big gap. Today we're talking about our second film.
Ooh, fuck. God.
What the fuck just
I'm doing
happened?
great.
Did you almost spill your Diet Coke?
Yes.
Easy, Sims.
Raging out over
It's
there.
fine. If this laptop gets busted, I can buy a new one with a mechanical keyboard. Clack, 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 clack. Sorry.
God, the E is hitting everybody in this room
I
different.
know,
know.
really. And we are strobing the lights in here. We should mention, and we're recording in a bathtub.
Shit, I should have brought my strobe light. That would have been amazing.
I had that thought while watching this of like, it's really a shame that Dalton Trumbo didn't live long enough to see Morvern Callar.
He would have. That's true.
An appropriate amount of bathtubs.
and writing.
And writing.
clickety clacking.
Bathtubs and novels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dalton Trumbo would have loved my clickety clack face. That would have been his favorite face
fuck
in the
outta here.
podcast. He would have loved it.
Today we're talking about 2002's Morvern Callar, and our guest today returning to the show, long overdue. And I've seen it. I've seen it over the last year.
But last night I saw on
There
our
was a
Reddit
new
someone
thread
saying,
last
"Where's
night,
Mama?"
Just last night, what's been going on? And she mentioned to me the other night, she was like, did you guys lose my fucking number? Why didn't I get called in for Fargo?
You guys have gotten too big for me.
Why didn't I? No, the answer is we knew like there's a new Ramsey coming.
Yeah, that was it.
We're
It was.
saving the spot.
We had actually written you in without telling you, which we sometimes will do that. Like someone will text me being like, "Hey, if you are doing that direct, I'd be interested." And I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, we already wrote you in. We didn't even tell you. Sorry."
It's one of the most iron lock guest bookings we've ever had. Like Connor Ratliff doing Altman's Popeye. It's just etched in stone
Incredible.
as something that must happen, and now it is finally happening today.
I really
Emily
appreciate it.
Yoshida, mother of Blankies,
Did somebody miss their mommy?
writer of Shogun, writer on Shogun,
Writer on Shogun.
host of the Shogun podcast.
Yes.
And what's your Traders podcast called?
First to Breakfast,
There you
a
go.
traders podcast, which will be bringing it back as far as I know for the next season. So
Mama's home.
there for
Do you
that.
do
Well,
American
nice.
traders or British traders?
We
Or
do
all
American traders. We thought about doing it for British traders right afterwards because I think
Right,
they
they
went
kinda-
straight into it. Yeah,
right.
it went straight into the British season, and it was like it was too.
And the
Guys,
British
did
one,
you know that podcasting is hard work?
oh, it's a lot. And the British one is non-celebs, but now they've done a celeb edition.
Yeah, they
I
just
see.
I think wrapped
Right.
up.
And the American one is celebs.
Yeah, it started off kind of a mix of celebs and regs, and then it became just celebs. And now they're going to do a regular season. I have put in my application. I know that everybody's very worried, and they want to make sure that I am on the debut normie season of Traders. But still no word back. So hopefully they're listening to this right now. I can show my devotion to Scottish culture through this podcast today. So
The celeb season was mostly past reality TV show
Well,
people, right?
the British,
Yes.
and that's the British ecosystem of reality TV, where they're like, and now Celebrity Big Brother, who's on it? People from other Big Brothers
all
that
Love
became
Island.
celebrities due to their behavior.
And shows that ripped off Big Brother.
Right.
Now they're going on the mothership.
Right.
It is just fascinating. I'm not commenting on anything new here, but there's an ecosystem of like, if you pop on one reality competition, you basically can just jump around them
Yeah.
in perpetuity.
You're set up. And if it's a Bravo one, you're set for life. You can go on any Bravo show. You go to BravoCon, you get those appearance fees. It's a whole career.
I feel like for a while it was one and done. It's like if you're at Survivor, they're not going to let you on the fucking
oh, no.
Amazing Race. And now everyone does everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think once Liz Hasselbeck got on The View, it was just
Thank
like,
God.
oh, wow. You can really go as far as you want with very little talent or
Absolutely.
intellect.
What's she
Absolutely.
doing?
Mhm.
What's
I
she
don't want
doing
to-
or how's she
Who
doing?
How's
wants-
she doing?
Nobody needs to know. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure she's furious about something.
But I mean, as practice for my inevitable turn on regular people traders, I did have my own. I hosted my own traders game for my birthday this year, and it was pretty fun. So now I have speaking of other careers, I have a new career I can do, which is like mystery dinner party host, part-time Alan Cumming. So yeah, just putting it out there.
I don't know if you remember.
She wrote a
this.
children's book called God's Masterpiece.
Okay,
Jesus
shut up,
Christ.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Ah.
I don't know if you remember this, but the day of your trader's birthday party was when I made a pilgrimage with our mutual friend Alex Gooder to pick up the David Lynch atmospheric water generator.
Oh, yes.
He was worried about being able to make it
Yes. And that was supposed to end up in my home.
as a temporary resting place.
As a temporary resting place,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know. I guess he changed his mind before I was even consulted about it. Like, surely Emily would not want to house this water generator. I was like, what are you talking about? There's a package that has a mailing label with David Lynch's address on it, and I could have it in my home.
Yeah.
But I ended up seeing it recently, actually, at the office. He's keeping it in now.
It's
And,
pretty incredible.
Took a photo
Right?
with
It'd be
it.
funny if we rented a whole office just for and people could just go look upon it. Labels right
Will
there.
you assure them it's pretty cool to see in person?
Yeah, I did a little bit of eye rolling when I was told about it at first, and then I saw it in person. I was like, this is cool. I don't even know what it is. It's a water generator, but yeah, it's big. It's like this. It's high as me.
Let's not oversell how big.
The thing about it is it's huge. The footprint of this thing is not small.
And even though it hasn't been open, it's louder than a mechanical keyboard. Emily, Morvern Callar.
Yeah.
Is it your number one favorite movie of all time, or is it kind of just like your heart song?
Well,
Think of this
I
just
was-
definitive Emily content.
It is a top 5 movie for me. I would say top 5. Like, it's up there. I think that I was looking through my blank check appearances, and I'm pretty sure that it's like this and Castle in the Sky are probably this might well be my favorite movie that I've ever come on to talk to you guys about.
This is
on
the
show.
16th film you've discussed on this show.
Sweet
Sweet
16.
16.
If we're including Babe, which we should.
We should.
We are.
He's a gallant.
Yes.
We
pig.
must. Yes. It'll do.
Will do.
And you've talked about movies you love. Welcome to Marwin. Welcome to Marwin. Marwin.
Yeah,
Welcome to you.
welcome to Morvern Callar.
Welcome to
More
Morvern.
like-
I mean, I'm sure you do really like The Handmaiden. You really
I do.
like
Yeah, I actually
Strange
rewatched
Days.
that.
But I mean, like,
Fury
Yeah.
Road. You've
No,
had-
I've had some really, really fun
But
ones
I mean-
and movies that I hold near and dear to my heart.
but
this
Castle
one
in the
is
Sky.
yeah.
And
Castle in the
this.
Sky is very special to me, and this one is
Like-
yeah.
Just the Emily Bible, if I'm reading. Like those are chapters in it.
Yeah. I hope that is a compliment, considering everything that goes down in this film. But yeah,
Hey,
I would say
depiction is not endorsement. We need
in
to
my
repeat
case, I
this
think it
across the
is.
search. Okay, yeah, we like her and we think she's cool.
I think she did nothing wrong.
What she
Everything
did
she did is good.
It was right, actually.
Yeah.
It was very correct.
The more I watch it, the more time that goes by, the more I lean toward that opinion of Morvern Callar did nothing wrong. I think I kind of, because the whole thing with, we'll get into the plot, but the whole thing with Lana and the betrayal involved there is kind of played for laughs for so much of it. I think the first couple times I saw it, and also I probably didn't see it with like subtitles the first time I saw it. So a lot of stuff is easy to get lost in the sound mix if you're not a native Scottish speaker. But I think yeah, the more clarity I have about that and like think more about their friendship, I'm like, yeah, that girl.
Was it a birthday or was it when you were leaving New York that you did the kind of like Morvern Callar screening?
Oh, yeah. No, that was really fun. That was, I think at the time there was maybe 1 or 2 tops, like existing prints of it in circulation, and they happened to be, it was making the rounds. I think it must have been around You Were Never Really Here.
Yes.
Yeah.
that
And
sounds
so
like-
it was at a couple of theaters here, but I remember they did I think it was a BAM. They
Mm-hmm.
showed it there, and I just sort of, I remember this was back in the days of Twitter being a place that people hung out and occasionally had a nice time. I basically was like, okay, I'm picking the screening, anybody who follows me, let's get tickets and, let's hang out afterwards and talk about Morvern Callar.
It was basically a like loudly announced, this is important to me.
Yeah.
I invite anyone else to come
Yeah.
experience this with me.
Well, and it was there was the scarcity thing with it then, because there wasn't a 4K out. The only way to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one, that's pretty new. That came out within the last
The Fun
5
City
years.
edition.
Yeah. I feel like that
and
came
that
out-
is sold out. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard.
I
It was
got
a limited.
2 copies.
Hard to find.
Hell yeah.
One is still sealed at home because you never know. These things, we've learned our lesson so many times now with things going in and out of circulation.
Well, this
but the
is
one that
also
was
a movie
on-
with like defunct distributors.
Yeah.
It like fell into like legal like kind of ambiguity for a while.
Yeah, I don't know the whole timeline of that. I just know that for the longest time, the only way you could watch it was like the shittiest transfer imaginable on Amazon Prime. Like just off. Like this is a beautiful movie, among other things. Just like cinematography, all the above. The music, it's all stuff that you actually want to have like a pretty, faithful thing of. And it looked like it was like, something out of a Cracker Barrel box?
Yeah.
A Cracker Barrel. Something out of a Cracker Barrel.
And the woke Cracker Barrel.
Oh,
yeah,
logo.
yeah.
The later one where he has
not even a based Cracker
no
Barrel.
or what did they even change? They got
rid of the guy.
The guy.
And the barrel.
Those
It was
fools.
just the text.
Because they hate men.
They hate men and they hate barrels.
barrels, the most masculine of water containers.
Well,
Right.
I mean, in a pinch, it's also like a dress if you're a guy who loses his
That
clothes
is so
in a
true.
fire.
And I've been in that situation
Yeah.
where I had to reach for my barrel.
Yeah, the Blu-ray didn't come out until 2022, and there were less than 3,000 copies made, and there's one on eBay for $80. But this movie is like rentable and streamable again.
Yeah, you
Which it
can
wasn't
watch
for
it.
a while.
Yeah.
Can you, it's like on iTunes or whatever, you can.
It's on Amazon
It's on
Prime right
Amazon.
now. It seems rentable.
I
Yeah.
don't think I still think that the Amazon Prime one is shitty. I could be wrong.
You know what?
but-
I was pulling it up to
Yeah.
try to get the text, the opening text, and it was far worse than what we had just watched.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
The
significantly.
disc is gorgeous. It's, yeah.
It's not completely vanished, at least.
No, it feels like there was, they clawed back some clarity of who owns this movie and how they can license
right, because
it.
this was an Alliance Atlantis joint?
Yes, but then I was looking, the American distributor was a name I didn't even recognize.
Momentum? That was a UK.
That was a production.
We'll find it. You know what? I'm sure this will be in the dossier unless
JJ
someone should do a good
is
job.
about to get fired. When did you see this for the first time, Emily?
Well, I'm pretty sure I saw this at, and sometimes I have mixed up memories of this because there was a student movie theater at University of Iowa called the Bijou, which still exists, but
Called the what?
the Bijou, and it was just in the student union. You could go see, like I saw, a bunch of gay films. I saw, any art house thing that came through. Usually, like a year after it had been released. Like we were very. But it was a very important place, and I believe that is where I saw this for the first time, and I'm pretty sure I saw it, like I said, without any subtitles, which changes a lot. But the soundtrack was so important to me. I think that they released a disc. I never had that, but I just think like I was very in my Boards of Canada, like Warp Records era in high school. And so that plus like the Velvet Underground stuff, all the canned stuff.
They
It's
did
just
release a soundtrack.
They did,
It's
yeah.
out there.
On cassette?
That's CD.
it'd be cool if it was cassette. Somebody's got to do that. Whoever made these bespoke Llewyn Davis albums for you has got to get on the Morvern Callar mixtape.
Yeah, or Moshe Fika Mutant. That feels like a good product. The Morvern Callar mixtape replica with the soundtrack on it.
Get on it.
Yeah.
Mo, get on it.
Had you seen Ratcatcher at that point?
No, I hadn't. Ratcatcher became a real touch point in film school, actually. Like, I feel like my little club of nerds that I was friends with, we were very much, that was sort of in rotation as far as stuff that was inspirational to us. But I hadn't seen it before. I didn't know who Lynn Ramsey was. All I knew that it was this movie with a cool soundtrack and Samantha Morton in it. So
right, who is Samantha Morton was kind of like just starting to pop in a major way.
You know, it's crazy because I was.
You know, it's crazy.
Well, you don't know what I'm about to say.
No, I don't.
You can disagree if you
It's
don't think
crazy
it's
out
crazy,
there.
but I'm going to make the argument.
What is it?
I almost did like a Kyle MacLachlan Blue Velvet Dune flip with this, where I thought of this as being the breakthrough. And you're like, no, this is like 3 years after the Sweet and Lowdown nomination. This is the same year as Minority Report.
yeah,
This is
that's
when
the
she's
wild
That's
thing.
what I mean
That's
by the
so
breakout.
crazy.
Because with Sweet
Yeah.
and Lowdown, it was like she got the deserved nom. Interesting movie. Not a movie I have seen in many, many years. But obviously, Sweet and Lowdown made a nominal sum at the time. It was not a big Woody Allen movie. And then, right, like after that, I think she's
There are
mostly
a
in
couple
tiny
indies,
stuff. Like
and
she's
then-
in Jesus on But that was a little movie. And like, apart from that, like
that's the
nothing
same year
much.
as Sweet and Lowdown,
Mhm,
though.
mhm.
And then this year is Morvern Callar, Minority Report, and there's one other film.
The film she got the Oscar nomination for, but in America. But
But that doesn't come
that
out in
came
the
out,
States until
I think,
2003.
2003.
So she
correct.
gets a nomination the following year. I just always think of this as being her like breaking the waves. Who the fuck is this?
Absolutely.
And instead, even though it was very much a like leveling up, like, oh shit, we didn't know she was this good. She has a nomination under her belt. She had done British Indies before this, but she is someone who kind of breaks out on TV first. And that leads to her movie castings.
we can talk about it.
We can.
She's in the absolutely incredible 1996 Emma with Kate Beckinsale as Harriet, as Brittany Murphy.
It's Brittany Murphy.
Yeah,
Canonically
as
Brittany
Ty.
Murphy. Yes.
I saw this film in theaters because I saw Ratcatcher, not in theaters, but so shortly after it came out, because my mom interviewed Lynn Ramsey for Ratcatcher.
Okay.
Lord knows why. My mom had this phase. I believe it was the great Graham Fuller, who's still a New York Film Critics Circle member. I think Graham was the editor of the New York Daily News arts section, and Graham is an arty fella. And even though it was the Daily News, which is, a New York tabloid where my mom worked for many years, it used to be a real newspaper. Now it's like nothing. I think it was a less arty set, but he tilted it arty for a little while. So when Graham was in charge, he would we lived in England, he would tell my mom like, hey, go interview this like Scottish director with a sort of vaguely big debut. I mean, Ratcatcher is a true tiny indie, but it did make waves.
It made waves, and I feel like it has a reputation as still one of those kind of like definitively important film school movies.
Like Emily was saying,
that is still kind of discovered by people because
and she won the BAFTA for like best debut and all that.
But if you're like a young aspiring filmmaker, there are movies like that you can watch where you're like, this is this person's first film. They made it for how little money.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a movie like this before.
Yeah.
And it can kind of explode your brain in terms of understanding the possibilities of film language.
Yeah, that you can do something that's very cohesive and just feels like of a very specific vision for not that much.
And fully realized right out of the gate.
So I, like the little pretentious boy that I was like, she was on my radar. I guess I'm reading the magazines. I'm reading Sight and Sound. I'm plugged
We're all
in.
reading the mags. We all love reading
And
mags.
so I was Samantha Morton, right? Like she was a name a little bit. So yeah, I was hyped to see this. I saw this in theaters when I was 16 years old. I'm proud to admit, I think it went a smidge over my head when I was 16 years old. I thought it was cool, but I think I was kind of like, whoa, like, I don't know if I was fully ready for Morvern Callar at that age. But the vibe was cool. I was less of a club kid. I don't know if this is shocking to you guys. I wasn't really like the type to
you never took a knee.
Yeah, go
You
rave
never-
in Ibiza. Like, I don't know. Does this
What about
surprise
that
everybody?
infamous dorm room picture of you biting your lower lip
There's
and pumping your fists?
there's like 4 billion of
and
those.
you're in like a sleeping bag or something?
That is
You
a
ever had
classic.
a drum and bass era, David?
I shouldn't laugh because
You never went
honestly,
to Glasgow.
now I did go to Glastonbury.
Cool.
I did go to Glastonbury.
Well-
2003.
Well,
Yeah.
who was playing?
Radiohead.
Morvern Callar?
Radio. Yeah, Morvern Callar.
Sick.
No, I went because it was radio.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
That was the sort of way that got me over the line because I was always like, "Ugh, I don't think I'll enjoy that. It was fucking Radiohead doing Hail to the Thief. Like that was the album they were promoting. And it was pretty cool.
I don't think there is a single musical act that could get me to go to a festival.
These
Not
days,
one-
no. I
mean,
was a
not
little
one
more
that's-
pliable back then.
I'm not a damp festival
No.
gal. Like not
Well,
a wet fest.
If your fest
dry
is in the
fest
UK,
only.
dampness is likely.
I would say I'm neither a damp festival gal nor a dry
Yeah,
festival
you don't want to
gal.
dry out neither.
If it's an indoor festival and I'm the only person there, and I can watch it from a bed,
on a couch or bed, yes.
I'm wet or dry, baby.
yeah, you'll take it
And
either way.
I don't think I had seen Morvern Callar again until I went to BAM to see it with you, Emily.
Okay.
The screening that you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't and I remember being like, yeah, fuck this. This fucking rocks, man. I was so in on Samantha Morton.
I was going to say, you being such an Oscar boards guy,
Exactly. Right.
there was this period in the 2000s where she had that energy of like, is this a generational actor? Is this person
Yeah.
about to have
Yeah,
like
totally.
a durational, decades-long defining run?
To be getting this kind of attention on a big scale at a young age, in like small movies, like that's unusual.
The Sweet and Lowdown nomination was seen as like a major surprise.
Right.
And so was the In America nom. She
The In
wasn't
America
getting
nom was
precursors for
surprising.
either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting now
She's good at
to,
that.
Griffin and I just saw Die My Love the other day. And it's interesting
Who
thinking
directed that?
about
Lynn Ramsey.
Lynn Ramsey. And it's interesting to think about Jennifer Lawrence sort of in the same frame as far as somebody who like broke out really, really early. But it's like this feels almost like a kind of return to, okay, this is the stuff that I should have done before I, got roped into 3 different franchises and shit. And now that's like Samantha Morton was popping before that was the inevitable path for Samantha Morton. But Jennifer Lawrence, had to come back to it and like get her own production shingle company and opt into this kind of filmmaking again and acting.
I think Samantha Morton is just like too innately odd, and even more than odd, she is like so emotionally like bracing and vulnerable, where there's something a little bit uncomfortable about watching her, where you feel like you shouldn't be watching this. Like there's something voyeuristic about the experience of watching one of her performances that I think was always going to prevent her from becoming like a conventional studio movie star.
No, yeah,
and it
she was
makes
never going to
sense
work that
that
way.
most of her big budget projects are her playing like aliens in sci-fi projects.
Gotta stick her in a tank.
Right,
I mean,
right.
She's so fucking good in that movie.
She's incredible in Minority Report, but also like John Carter and shit. Like she's used in studios in like otherworldly ways. And then, when she's playing a human character,
and she plays a lot of villains, like
right? Yes, there's that as well. I mean, she did like fucking 3 seasons of The Walking Dead.
She did. She popped up on Walking Dead. I assume it was sort of like one of those storylines where the humans kind of are worse than the zombies, if you think about it from a certain point of view.
Yes, I believe that.
They're just like, what goes on in your town? And they're like, nothing weird happens in our town. Hide the machetes. Like,
charismatic cult leader brings them in. They feel safe. Then it's weird.
Welcome to Evilville.
Town.
Foodville. Do you want some food?
The food definitely isn't other people. I truly was.
I think there are 2 separate sets of cannibals on the Walking Dead.
I think she was the leader of one of them.
There was I used to have to recap that show.
I'm so checked out of this shit.
I don't think it exists anymore.
Branching out into the spin-off, she was like the late season supervillain who kind of replaced the Negan.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like every Walking Dead season now is like 3 different colons.
Well, how many?
And it's like
How many seasons of Walking Dead do you think there were?
Because
the show has ended.
Mothership's over.
no, but of the official one,
Of the official, The Walking Dead.
I think that there were like what 12 seasons? 11
11 seasons. So the
But
last
then
one had
there's, like,
24 episodes. So
my
that's pretty long.
my favorite Walking Dead series that makes me laugh every time I see it is, what is it? It's like Walking Dead, like Daryl, the Book of Carol.
they did a book of Daryl and a book of Carol.
The Book of Daryl and Carol.
I think they announced that they were going to do a spin-off show that was Daryl and Carol. And then Carol dropped out and they were like, never mind. It's Walking Dead,
It's all Daryl, baby.
Dixon. And then season 2, they were like, surprise, Carol's back.
Can you
so
imagine?
then I think it was called Walking Dead, Daryl and Carol. Is that right?
Can you imagine like not having watched any Walking Dead, but then be like, hey, I heard they're doing a season about Daryl and Carol. Maybe I'll get in. This is my moment. This is when I'm going to get into this thing.
Like, are there 5 of them now?
I'm going to we'll just have to wrap this little tangent up quickly. Can you tell me how many seasons there were of Fear the Walking Dead, the original?
6.
8.
Which is Coleman Domingo.
He was there at some point. Lenny
Dixon,
James.
Kim
Dickens.
Cliff Curtis. Yeah, sorry.
And that's, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the one where they started to be afraid of the zombies?
That's like the start of the...
Sort of. It didn't really have a very definitive like take on like how it was different apart from, yes, it was sort of a prequel, kind of. It was really just like another series in the world. Then there was The Walking Dead World Beyond.
That's the kids, like the first
I've
generation.
never even
That
heard
was like
of that.
YA Walking Dead,
Right.
correct? That was like Stranger Things Walking Dead. Then there
You
was
could be making this up right now.
These
I
are all
have
real.
no idea.
All
Tales of the Walking Dead.
So that's like Walking Dead anthology.
Correct.
Okay, each episode's a standalone.
Then there was Walking Dead Dead City.
Of course.
What the fuck? That was Maggie,
Okay.
who is, of course, Lauren Cohen's character, and Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character.
Definitely needed a full
you
series.
know what? Actually,
about
I
him.
met a listener
That had 2 seasons.
who worked at a dispensary. He was a stuntman on that series.
Okay.
So shout out. I can't remember his name, but good guy.
Then you have the ongoing, the
Gave me a
Walking,
free joint.
the Walking Dead,
Okay,
Daryl
we gotta check out
Dixon,
this show.
which indeed was then rebranded The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol.
Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol.
And then don't forget that there's also The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, in which it turns out that Andrew Lincoln, as Rick Grimes, the main character,
Lives.
is not dead and
Right.
lives. And he's hanging out with Denai Guerrera
She's back.
as Michonne. And then you're like, who else is in? They're like, I don't know, Robert De Niro. You're like, it's like, everyone, they all had like, yeah.
That was
crazy.
the thing where, right, when they killed him off, he was like, he doesn't want the workload of a full series.
He's sick of fucking being in like Georgia for 8 months, like sweating in a
This
beard.
is the start of Rick Grimes movies. That was the
Yeah,
announcement
right.
he's not going to have a spin-off. He's going to make a series of Rick Grimes standalone films. And then they were like, never mind, he's back. He's in a new series.
He's fucking back. We called and nobody wants to do that. So
And he's got a new supporting cast. No, it's a lot of people from the old.
it's the same fucking bullshit.
It's the same fucking shit.
It's just, I mean, whatever. Like, it's fun. It is just funny after doing 9 seasons with like, I think I'm ready to stretch my movie legs. And it's like, the iron is cold. You
Yeah.
cannot
Also,
strike it.
movies are dead.
Yeah.
Well, sure. But I mean,
Partially because of
I'm like, this
Yeah.
was hot. It was once hot. You could cook an egg on this iron.
Yeah.
Like 6 years ago.
There's that similar, the moment that Christopher Maloney chooses to leave SVU and go like, I really want to make a play in movies was very bizarre timing.
Yeah. He's back, right?
Oh, he's back big time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, and he still like hits people's heads against walls and said like, you sick fuck or whatever.
Probably.
Okay, good.
You disgust me. I'm glad they haven't lost their capacity to be shocked, to care. A job like that can really desensitize.
Yeah, it'd be funny if like season 28, they're like, what? Yeah, okay, let's go get him, I guess. Who cares? What do you do? He fiddled with the, okay, yeah. Arrested.
fiddled.
It's against the law.
He starts making like Megyn
Illegal
Kelly
fiddling.
apologies.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't laugh. Jesus. What a sick, sad
The
world.
first time they say a phoebophile on SVU, we know we're cooked as a culture.
Christopher Maloney walks out of an interrogation room and say, we don't need to worry about this guy. He's just an ephebophile. It's not that bad. Just a great line we've drawn in the sand here. As you said, a sad, sick world. One that would fit in a Walking Dead spinoff. Walking Dead, present day America.
Or
Walking Dead
Glasgow,
2020.
Scotland.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Back on rails.
Morvern Callar.
Morvern Callar.
So I saw you, Griff. Did you see this in theaters?
Yeah,
You would
when
have
did
been
you see it?
a youngster.
No, I actually didn't see it until the Fun City disc came out.
Again,
Oh.
Yeah.
as Emily was saying,
I
I
missed
do
your
think.
screening, which I regretted. Yeah,
Oh, you weren't there.
I was not.
We went to Der
That's right.
Schwarzekloner after.
We did, yeah.
Aaron was there.
Aaron was there. I mean,
Trying to think.
I
who
really,
else.
when I think back on that, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know.
Don't
I don't.
remember.
It's a fog.
It's a fuck.
It's truly,
The
but it
fog
was
was
something. It
coming
was
in
a
through London
fond
town.
memory of that era.
Well, you know what's good?
Uh-huh.
Movies.
Movies.
Going to see 'em.
Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. And this one, what a picture. What a picture.
It's a normal film.
It's a very
about
normal film
stuff
about a woman with a normal state of mind
Right.
dealing with a normal situation.
in a normal way.
Yeah.
Emily, you were saying that you never read the book.
I haven't.
And that you
No.
wish you had.
Well,
I never
I thought about doing it just for this occasion, but then I mean, there's probably a reason I haven't. Oh, nice, you have it. Okay, there's
It's
probably,
written in Scots. Like I think it's a bit of a tough nut.
I
to
was
crack.
gonna say.
Oh, really?
I've
Yeah.
been trying to.
Oh, incredible.
I'm
Maybe
like
that's why.
I was committed to the goal of trying to read all these books before the Lynn
Right, 'cause
Ramsey episodes because
she
the
in every
adaptations
case-
are so different.
Right, but in every case, apart from Ratcatcher, she's Kevin is pretty long, but the other books are kind of like thin little volumes, like that she's
And I was like,
drafting.
oh,
off
this
of.
is like 250 pages, but like double spaced and pretty large font. I can get through this, but it is a little similar to
Clockwork Orange.
and Train Spotted.
Okay.
The slang is
Yeah.
not as extreme.
Yeah.
And you were saying while we were watching the movie, like, I've always wanted to read the book, but I'm worried the book would explain some of the stuff I like goes unexplained in the movie.
Yeah.
And the book, I have not made it all the way through because it's been a tougher read.
Yeah.
It's like very modernist, and it's basically a stream of conscious monologue.
Then it sounds like it was accurately adapted.
Correct. And by the way, the book, as I've gotten through it so far, does not really explain shit that much.
Okay.
It is, because it's not like her trying to explain herself to the reader. This is what's so incredible about her, in my opinion. And what's so fascinating that after Ratcatcher, she doesn't do original scripts, that it's all adaptations. And she takes these books where you're like, how the fuck do you adapt that? Or why would you even try to adapt that? And she finds a way to make these films that, to me, I feel like she represents the inner life better than anyone else.
Yes, 100%.
And she takes these films that are about like just kind of absurd tragedies or like nightmarish circumstances, the kind of things that are like so dark that people would rarely have the courage to even try to depict them on screen. And also avoids the kind of clean narrative of it's a story of someone getting through this, overcoming it, working through it, processing it. They are movies that are absolutely about staying
in the state,
the headspace of the unimaginable.
I mean, it's funny because it's like, yeah, she does almost uniformly depict people going through kind of unimaginable tragedies or difficult times,
crazy psychological turmoil,
and can translate that novelistic interiority, I think, through, like, she just has such a way with visuals, and like, you know, I think is very specific about the actors that she works with, and like, are you down to go on this journey with me, basically? And that's how you get like a Joaquin and You Were Never Really Here, and Jennifer Lawrence and the new one. But like, I think of it almost as like the way that it doesn't feel completely oppressive to watch her movies, except I would say maybe, and I haven't watched it since it came out, but like, I don't know that I will ever watch We Need to Talk About Kevin again. I find it to be so unpleasant. But aside from that, I think it kind of goes down easier than you would think. I think because you are so with the character in it. And that feels like counterintuitive.
Yes.
But the fact, like, you know, when you're thinking about somebody, a friend of yours who's going through a rough time, and you just like, oh my God, I can't even imagine being them in this situation. But when it's you going through the hard time, you do compartmentalization, you find the absurdness in the situation. There's a whole like landscape of textures of what you're feeling as you're dealing with this tragedy, or, you know, whatever you're going through. And I think that she does such a good job. Like, it's not uniformly sadness, you know, agony, all of that there is humor, there is, you know, poetry, and there is, you know, levity sometimes in the midst of absurd tragedy.
Definitely.
I think that's very well said.
It's fun.
I think this movie is fun.
This movie is super fun. I think it's probably the fun. We were talking about this the other night. It's like,
I think it's her only
one.
fun movie.
The character is committed to trying to have fun in a way her other protagonists are not.
Die My Love is quite
She's trying
funny.
to have fun.
It's funny.
Yeah, and has that sort of like heightened, almost farcical stuff. But it's not fun because it's still quite stressful.
They're all intense. I saw people catching wind of our hints that this was coming up. And there was a lot of like sicko mode, can't wait, 5 weeks of the darkest shit ever. And like people who have seen the Ramsey canon being excited at it. Because by and large, and Kevin may be the exception here, although I find that film watchable, even though it's the toughest of the five, is that these aren't like oppressive, punishing movies. They are intense mood movies. They're like deeply felt movies. But even you, Ben, were like worried and expressing this to us the other night when we were hanging out going in, of like, when should I fucking watch this? And maybe we should watch this all together at the office, because I don't know if it's going to bum me out to watch it too much at home. And that's because you read the synopsis, which like starts with when she discovers her boyfriend has committed suicide.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, so this movie's immediately going to put me in a bad headspace. You're someone who gets very emotionally affected by movies. And we were trying to explain to you the other night out, like, it's not what you think it's going to be.
Right. It might sound dark, and I suppose the subject matter is dark, but it's not punishing.
It's not going to roll off your back. It's not like you're going to go like, oh, it deals with it in a light way. But her movies aren't meant to be, they're challenging, but not in that kind of punishing, I want you to suffer way. They're just like very unconventionally structured narrative.
She also is just she is a movie maker. Like, she is so like, it's fucking cinema, baby. Like, there's so much to look at and be swept up in. It's not sparse. Her films are never sparse. They never feel silent or dry or anything. There's just always a wealth of visual ideas. So, you know, even if it is something tough that you're watching, you're still watching a movie.
They're sensory.
Yeah.
They're like very gripping.
It feels so lived in and live.
Yes.
I was really struck by just how I felt anxiety because I really was like so immersed and rooting for the character. And then even at the end, it hit me too of like, we did just watch her cut up her husband. And yet
Boyfriend.
He deserved it.
Boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But still.
She is wearing a ring, though, I noticed this time.
I thought it said in the synopsis husband.
I think it's boyfriend, at least in
I take it as boyfriend.
Either
Yeah.
way, it's you're rooting for her, even though she, I mean, that's quite an act.
For some reason, I just always get annoyed right at the start. I'm with her unconsciously. It's not like she says
The movie
anything.
basically starts with like 4 minutes of total silence.
Sure. But I'm with her in that he doesn't say, could you please send the novel? He just says send the novel. I'm like, can we ask nicely? Like you're putting her in a really tough situation.
Also, he has
and then you're like,
zero,
FYI, send the novel.
Yeah, he has zero explanation of why he did it. Like, it's the most like, just don't ask any questions. I was tortured. And the fact that the people at the pub call him Dostoevsky, I'm like, was this guy kind of a pain in the ass? Like, you kind of...
Which is, that's a very dark kind of gallows humory way to think about it. But the movie has that gallows humor. And I think
Totally.
Ben is right in that, like, when she's chopping it up, you're almost like, yeah, good. I'm glad she's getting this out of the way. This is funny. This is a good job by her.
Horrible. The
Right.
smell.
Right. It's just, hey man, it's Scotland too. It's like, it's like, it's a place with the most gallows humor because it's dark. Everyone dies when they're 58 because all I eat is fried Mars bars all the time. Don't come at me,
Good diet.
Scott. You know I'm
Good diet.
right.
I mean, I think I was also very primed for this movie when I saw it because aside from being in my Warp Records era, I was also in my like Belle and Sebastian era. Like Scotland was like overrepresented in my pop culture intake at the time. So I was just like, okay, I kind of, there is that like wry sense of humor that even though this is a very different film than had different tone than a Belle and Sebastian album circa 2000.
Yes, I would say Lovely Stuart Murdoch is more on the precious side.
Yes, but a lot of those songs are very, very dark. They just sound cute. Yeah.
But you're right that it's like a bone deep sensibility thing where her finding levity and humor in these movies isn't some strategic like, well, I got to put some jokes in so it isn't too oppressive. It is like, that is her worldview. It comes across in the way she like interrogates all of these characters and figures out, like burrows into their mind and their feelings. And she's also like a funny person. Like when you read interviews with her and shit, I know you were talking about you had a kind of intense,
No, it wasn't intense. I wish it would have been intense. It was just like she had no interest in even looking at me. The one time I got to, do a panel with her after, I think it was for You Were Never Really Here. And, I mean, we do a lot of these in our line of work. You get a little desensitized, but this was still a big one for me. I was like, this is one of my heroes. And like, how am I going to not come off like a total asshole? And ideally, how do I get to have a drink with her after this?
Right.
And it was like, nope, it was not happening.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you put her off when you were like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. That might have done
she's
it.
like, what is this in reference to? I don't watch. Yeah, it was. I kind of probably blacked it out. It was humiliating. Whatever happened.
I find something perversely life affirming about her movies. Because they like make me feel so deeply, and I think a lot of her films have central characters who are kind of catatonic, who are going through such extreme things but don't know how to process them in the moment and almost go numb. But the way she makes her movies makes me feel the range of human experiences, even if it doesn't have some kind of like sense of conquering the challenge at the end. There's like a little bit of like, just like, well, this is about like being alive is this. It's all of this shit, You hope nothing this extreme ever happens to you.
I also just like, I was thinking this after Dying My Love. I'm just like so grateful for her just always depicting like people who are not, there's no assumed normalcy, like we were saying, about anything. And like, I don't know. I just find that so, as somebody who often has to deal with notes for things where it's like, can you make this person a little more, whatever, relatable, or, somebody that we can at least understand at first glance, like, oh, it's that kind of person. There's no like, oh, it's that kind of person with any of her characters. And I just think that in itself is life affirming to me, because it's like respectful of a range of human experiences and psychology.
We'll crack open the dossier in a moment because there are a lot of good quotes from her about that. But I want to read this first.
Sure.
Because I opened with the second half of the note he leaves for her. This is the first half. Sorry, Morvern. Don't try to understand it. It just felt like the right thing to do. My novel is on the disc. Print it out and send it to the first publisher on this list.
Just the assumption.
If they will not take it, try the next one down. And then only past that point does it move to the emotional.
Right.
I wrote it for you. I love you. Be brave.
Right.
Right.
Okay, fine. I mean, and right, I'm not trying to discount the experience of whoever this person is, but the movie does discount his experience kind of like that's like baked into what you're watching is that he's completely abstract. And so you can project like the darkest tragedy onto him, or you can project sort of almost a weird comedy onto it.
He was hot though, probably. I think he was hot.
I mean, the guy she fucks in Spain is hot.
I almost
so
wonder
she's
if
got
it's the
taste.
same. Yeah, she's got taste and she has like the right radar.
Because she lets the other friend pick off the like bucket hat
Yes.
weirdo
Yeah.
losers.
The straight up wanker.
Yeah, he is a big wanker.
Hey.
Fucking wanker.
But you know, the other crazy thing is
Yeah.
this novel comes out of the exercise of Alan Warner trying to write a book about the boyfriend. He starts it from that perspective.
Right. Sure. Right.
And then he goes like, this is feeling like
It's a little tropey. It's like obvious,
right. And he was what's the quote? The rigidity of the perspective was frustrating him. And so he was like, as an exercise, like, what if I write her? And then it just all started unfolding, which is that adage that everyone says of like the way to write a novel is you write 30 pages and throw them out. And the book starts on page 31. Like he almost needed the whole exercise, perhaps, of working out the boyfriend as a lead character to then throw out and write the other person.
And that's probably why it's so good that that there's.
Is there any idea in the book of what his book is about? James's book?
What's his book about? I mean, I just feel like it's some sort of authentic slice of life thing,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Because like, why else would the publishers be into it?
What if
Like it would be so funny if they were. It's like sci-fi. They're like, can you explain the rules of how the spaceship works to us? And
Yeah.
she's like, what?
the funniest thing to me would be like if the book was called Morvern Callar.
Sure, it was like about her. Morvern
And it
Callar
was
by Morvern
because he
Callar.
says, I wrote it for you. And I'm like, is this, some sort of ode to my amazing girlfriend,
Right.
Morvern Callar? But
She works at a supermarket. She's so mean.
It's a book called My Crazy Girlfriend. Where I'm in so far, and I'm under 100 pages, it hasn't really gotten into it, which does feel like kind of part of it, that the book remains this kind of abstract idea.
For most of her time in the public sphere, Lynn Ramsey had a career marked by trials and tribulations, but in her early years, she had a speedy trajectory upward, I would say, pretty much to Morvern Callar. It's after this that she becomes
very bumpy.
cursed, right? With like all these projects that fall apart and all. Anyway, so she goes to England's National Film and Television School for education. Then she writes a short film called Small Deaths. It plays at the 1996 Cannes Film Festival, wins the jury prize, the short film jury prize. Her second short is Kill the Day. Her third short is Gas Man. She wins another Cannes jury prize for that. Off of that, she gets Ratcatcher. That goes to Cannes Uncertain Regard. She wins the BAFTA for Best Debut. So it's like things are going great. After the release of Ratcatcher, Ramsey gets attached to the first of many unrealized projects, a multi-director anthology project about sex.
What?
What? Along with Gaspar Noé and Hal Hartley.
Never happened. It was an anthology series called Uncensored that was supposed to be Ted Hope and James Seamus,
Yes.
friends of the pod, hand-selecting directors. They wanted to explore sex.
Hand selecting. My goodness. Instead, she decides to make Morvern Callar, an adaptation of Alan Warner's debut 1995 novel. She first learned of the book when she was shooting Ratcatcher. It was recommended to her. She was attracted to the title character because she's subversive.
JJ found that there were two different stories she told at different times about.
She also at one point said it was when she was making Gas Man. Who knows? But it was, early in her career, she gets handed this book. It reminds her of Camus' The Stranger, but with a young woman. She's got an edge. It's
that
very
was
modern.
the big thing she said, that she
challenging.
felt like she had not read this kind of like super modernist in the headspace of an unlikable, undefinable, inexplicable character from the perspective of a woman before in the same way. Can I just, I found this in the book.
Go ahead.
First of all, his like Suicide Note is much more like flowery and verbose and overwritten versus sparse. It's as annoying and rude, but in the opposite direction. But then it's pointedly like, after a good while, I started paging through the disc. The novel thing was page after page of words, then more pages of words and another number. You had to read it to get to the end. You couldn't see the point in reading through all of that just to get to the end. Without reading a word of it, I toddled over to the video and put on The Thing. Not the original, but the remake with special effects. She pointedly doesn't read the novel. She's just like, what is this shit? Then she finishes watching The Thing and she prints it out.
Okay, I'm gonna read this book.
This is the thing. The book really doesn't like demystify.
Yeah.
I think I want to say Young Adam. Have you ever seen Young Adam? Film came out the year after.
That's a David Mackenzie, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Also Scottish, also existentialist, also horny. Much more. Not a movie I dislike. If you want to see McGregor's big old thing,
you can.
It is available.
His
to you.
thing is there.
You can see his thing all sorts of places.
But you can see it.
That movie's got a lot of floppy thing.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool.
But like that is a much more, in my opinion, rote existentialist, a Scottish guy fucking not. Whereas this is so much cooler and so much more interesting.
That is a movie that like has the characters kind of state the inner monologue.
A little bit. So yeah, she's very interested in this character. She likes the feeling of escape. She likes exploring this slightly lost generation, disenfranchised youth going out, traveling, having nothing to do. She calls Morvern something of a Western cowboy character. Of course, she does have a hat sometimes for you to get that, and boots.
But this notion of like she rides into town, no one knows what's motivating her. She does a thing, she rides off.
And she's got this weird void. The drug taking is like more hedonistic. It's not political. It's not peace and love, right?
Well,
it's like
not
the 60s.
That's the
anymore.
generational thing she wants to comment on. Is there's something almost like self-punishing about the pursuit of happiness in a society that's collapsing, and this whole notion of like a generation who believes that happiness is not accessible to them without money, and there's not a clear path to making money.
She also thinks that it has elements that might potentially interest wider audiences. I've got a young girl at 21. I've got some rave scenes. I've got some sex scenes, lots of selling points. I think I'm becoming less naive about how everything works. I do think it's just funny that Ramsey's like, I mean, this is frankly commercial.
Popcorn.
I'll say this.
She chops her boyfriend up in the bathtub. And we go from there.
I mean, it's interesting. Like the tension of the film for me, and what I think, if there's anything that it is about for me, and I'll just like put this out there, is like that I feel like, aside from just being a void, which I think is maybe a little overly simplistic about her, I think it is about like truly being marginal as a person. Like she, and I think the greatest tension as represented by the situation in the film is like, she's feeling alienation from, you know, the youth culture in her town. Everybody else is an old corpse waiting to die. And there's an absence of sort of a literate, sophisticated adult existence, which you kind of assume her boyfriend maybe represented. Like maybe he was sort of the smartest guy in their group of friends that would all go hit the pub. But it's like now she's there without him. There's this idea of like a want for something that is neither the kids taking the E of the house and hanging out with grandma, but it's like also this sort of fundamental disinterest and boredom with like art as like a mannered thing, or like as represented by the publishers at the end. So it's like, where do you fit in then? If you are like a hedonistic, embodied young woman who, you know, finds your peers to be like empty and unsatisfying, but like you also you're not quite equipped to be like a important young novelist, then where do you fit in this world? And I don't know, that to me is like always feels like the tension, or why she feels like lost as a character.
She's bored partying, and she's bored at her job, and she's bored relaxing.
Yeah.
You know, like everything isn't quite hitting for her.
It is a vibe.
And you're obviously watching her in like a pretty extreme state of grief and shock.
Distress, shock, something like that. You also
get the sense that like she wasn't a radically different person a week earlier, because her friends are largely like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like her best friend is noticing that something seems a little off in her, but even when she tries to confess it, she won't hear
But
it.
This is also the thing about hanging out with people who are constantly on drugs. It's like you can get away with being like that, whether or not your boyfriend's committed suicide or not. And people just feel like, I feel a little down today. You know?
It's part of the same quote that David was pulling from the dossier where she's talking about the lost generation and everything, but she was sort of like saying that she 2 movies in and having made a couple of short films, she was already like, I guess this is the dominant theme of my work is like outsiders. And when she talks about making movies about outsiders, it's not like outsiders, I feel like how they are often defined, but she's truly making movies about people who do not know how to function.
Like Pony Boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Soda Pop.
Right.
Soda Pop.
We usually are telling outsiders to stay golden.
No, that movie rocked.
Well,
No,
it's
but it's
also
not
like
just like subcultures or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like people who don't know what to do or how to fit in.
Yeah, and I mean, she's an outsider only internally because she's still, among people. Like from the outside, she's friends. She's going on holiday in Spain. She's with her
but
peers
she
there.
feels like
She's not with them though.
right,
Yeah.
and it feels like she's wearing like a fake skin or something.
Yeah.
But every one of her
But
lead
Samantha Morton's so good at
characters
playing that.
has
Mhm.
some degree of that at their core.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think Joaquin Phoenix's character in that one is very well adjusted.
Hand
So,
in glove.
Yeah, exactly. That guy is the kind of guy that if I saw him on a New York City street, I would shake his hand and say, "How are you doing, sir?"
Who amongst us
what's
doesn't
your
suffocate
secret?
themselves with a garbage bag?
just
in their
just to
mom's
wake up in the morning. Lynn Ramsey, here's a
Yeah.
quote from her.
Okay.
I guess I'm just a dark girl who's kind of weird. I like bugs.
Good.
I like
good,
the ants.
good.
For me, it's coincidental. Both feature films of mine so far do start off with a death, Ratcatcher as well. But they're both very different. One's an accidental death where the kid feels guilty and he doesn't tell anyone. There's some similarity to that, but I think the death in Morvern is more about identity. She takes on someone else's identity, which gives her a chance to get out of her life. The theme of escape obviously is kind of happening in both, but in Morvern, I feel like there's sort of like a appealing fantasy to what she's doing in a way of like, what if you did just fucking hack everyone up, who's a mill around your neck and bury him in the woods.
Let's also be clear, right? The movie opens. She's lying on the floor, lit by Christmas decorations,
lights going on and off.
sort of
It's a
entwined in a
Christmas
body.
movie.
It's a Christmas movie. It is.
Mhm.
I had to double check that Shane Black didn't write this.
I have to say, whatever mode they have the Christmas lights on is psychotic.
I would
and
switch out of
sociopathic.
the sort of
all
like
on, all off.
bodega mode
Yes.
or whatever, like where it's just like
Do the chasing
On or
lights
off,
one.
or
Come
some
on.
twinkling.
Yeah.
But yes, they're sort of like physically entangled on the floor. At first, it almost feels like it's a post-coital thing. And then you see the blood, and then you get the sense that he has killed himself, and she is. They're just in this kind of like blank catatonic state.
It's so gruesome too because he's moved from where he, cut himself. I don't know. There's something about that too that again feels really real, and that it's not just like he's like laying there in the chair in the
bathtub or
kitchen
whatever.
or the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something. Yeah. I mean, yeah. My boyfriend, like when he was, I was, talking about doing this movie, and I showed it to him, and he misremembered it as that she killed him.
This is why I wanted to clarify when we keep talking about him. She
chops up
chopping
his
him up.
dead
Yeah.
body.
Right.
His dead body,
She's just
like
doing a Bobby
week later.
Durst.
But it is. I think it's one of those things because it's such a It's kind of murky how it's told.
Yes.
You could easily make that mistake.
The letter is what makes it clear that it was a thing he did of his own volition. But yeah, she like is there. You're sort of, we're so used to the cinematic language of someone in this kind of situation having like a fucking Julianne Moore breakdown scene, right? Even if the idea is that she discovered this body whenever ago, you're not used to seeing like a dramatic powerhouse actress next to a dead body kind of being expressionless. That there is just like a catatonic state of shock and grief. And then we see her just like get ready and go out and meet up with her friends at the party that she was supposed to go to with him and just say like, he's not here. And everyone's like, oh God, what's the excuse this time? And there's this feeling of like procrastination of like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do with this dead body? Both in like, what do I literally do with it? And also, what do I do with my emotions in processing this? That she keeps going like, let me just try to like get out and have like a normal day. And maybe when I come back home, I'll be in a better mood to process this.
Yeah. I'll be in the right headspace to chop up the body finally.
I mean, it's extreme, but when you're suffering from depression,
I was going to
That's
say,
exactly it.
it's like you just
She has shut down.
you're incapable of dealing with
it is
things.
circumstantially extreme, but this is exactly how I handle laundry when I am this depressed. Where I'm just like, I'll just fucking do it tomorrow, you know? I'll unpack the clothes tomorrow. Like,
I think it's something about what is it? It's executive function is what people would say.
goes out the window.
It goes out the window.
Right. And I also think, like, as someone who suffers from like pretty extreme depression and anxiety, if I am like dealing with something that is actually intense, sometimes I'll be like, I just need to like time shift the emotions of this. I can't handle this right now. I need to just like get through stuff. And then at some point it will catch up with me later.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's something to the idea of this being a movie about escape, where it's like for somebody who is probably just depressed all the time anyway, this horrific thing happens, this gruesome thing that is definitely like a break in whatever the monotony was that you were feeling, you know, totally oppressed by. And in a way, like the worst thing possible then becomes an escape valve because it represents at least a marking point in like what's otherwise, you know, a bunch of, you know, just like a depressive soup. And like it feels like the realization she comes to eventually when she does eventually deal with the body and figure out what to do next is like using the tragedy as a rung to get out of it because it's something. It's something that happened to her. And,
yes. And beyond that, I also think that you can infer from the note on the computer that their relationship has probably been one of mutual codependent depression.
Yes.
That has probably been their bonding element. That they have
I
been
think
like
that's a good read.
in this together.
Yeah.
Which is like both comforting and also self-perpetuating.
Yeah.
Versus like no one understands me, not even my boyfriend. It's like there's probably a like best and worst of times to whatever dynamic they have built with each other, and then mutually like going out and escaping by dropping E with friends, or whatever it is.
It's funny because this is such a druggy movie, but it's like but it feels like it's giving junkie couple so much that like and it would be there for that as well, but it has that vibe entirely.
But part of like the junkie vibe is like probably like depression as a drug, like them giving into that, you know?
Yeah.
Like comfortably, willingly kind of staying in that state.
Yeah. Because it's like I actually think, because I wrote in my notes, I was like, I always wonder what their relationship was like, and the thing is, like, I don't think it was a bad relationship. But I think it like I mean I don't think it was like fractious. It wasn't like they were fighting a lot or there was, except you know she finds out there was cheating involved. But like it seems more like that, where it's just you kind of sink to the bottom with somebody.
An insidious kind of codependency.
Yeah.
And you know, in the book, his note is so much more kind of self-aggrandizing. It is almost like this self-stylized, like, you know, the depressed Russian writers. You know, it's almost like a piece of legacy for him.
Yeah.
Almost like, won't this help the text? Right? That like this book came out of this.
So annoyed if I was her.
Which is why I think it's like so much better to have it be annoying in that he's just kind of so blunt and unemotional about it. Because also then in the instructions he's giving to her, it's not like he's saying, I want the proceeds from the book to go to charity, or can you buy my parents a house, right? Or like tell people my story or whatever it is. It's just like he's left her with this mess. He's literally left her with a bloody body in the house, all of the emotional work she has to do. And also like, can you just like get this sold?
Yeah.
And it's like, to what end?
It's so extremely selfish.
Yeah, it's insane.
Which is why whether or not she's justified in doing what she does, there's almost a like sort of why not do it?
Nothing wrong.
Right, because it's like she's not betraying any notion of...
I think we can all agree. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is gained by her leaving his name on the book?
I'm her friend.
Yeah.
And I find out she's doing all this, I might be like, we doing all right, Morvern?
That's the role of a friend.
Unless
Morvern, I heard you chopped up the old boyfriend. I know he was dead already.
Unless you'd been sleeping with him.
Yeah.
In which case, you don't really have a leg to stand on.
So Alex Warner wrote a draft, gave up, was like, I don't know how to do
Alan
this.
Warner.
Alan Warner, sorry,
Yes.
whoever it was.
Yeah, his name's Alan.
Who cares?
I care a lot.
No, I think we should never speak of him again. No, and then Ramsey, who co-wrote this with Liana Dugnini,
Is an animator, and I think
Yes.
was a film school friend of hers.
said it took him about 8 months to adapt it, which makes sense because the book is one big monologue, so it's not exactly like screaming out for a screenplay structure.
And there's plottier stuff in the book. She gets pregnant from the
The hot
rave
guy?
hookup. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's like stuff like
Yeah, that's such a trait.
that.
I'm glad they got rid of
Exactly.
that.
And because of the nature in which the book is like telling the story and you not being able to see her physically and the reveal of it, it feels less trite, I think, than it would cinematically.
I will also
She
say,
strips it way back.
and this may speak to many people who are listening. She says, I might have finished it sooner for the fact that I'm not a disciplined person. A typical day will find me getting up too late, getting in a mad panic, drinking 7 cups of coffee, smoking loads of fags. Just a British, and then deciding.
What's that
you
accent?
putting that
Smoke a
accent-
fag. I'm doing Supergrass. All right.
It sounds like you're doing Borat.
I'm trying to just obscure the words. as much as
I
can.
understand.
And then deciding to hoover the carpet, paint the walls, or watch Neighbors. Shout out Neighbors. Great
I
Australian soap
could
opera.
not relate more to this quote.
Anything to avoid writing. Luckily, my co-writer is more organized. The script, finally did come together with her help.
I love that this is actually just what she tells the publishers at the end, which is one of the funniest like lines about writing ever. Like when you're a writer, you can knock off whenever you want. It's so true.
It's also like you can't make these movies without
thought the,
some acute
pregnancy-
sense of insight. Now,
She thought the pregnancy plot was really naff.
Yeah.
Another British
what
expression.
does
Yeah.
NAF mean again?
Just corny.
Okay.
Just kind of like, she just thought it was dumb.
Well,
She says there's also a bunch of stuff about the kind of the culture in Oban, which is the city, town, city is a little strong, that she lives in Scotland, that she also is kind of like, let's leave the town faster. Like, forget that.
I think her point, which is right too, is having the pregnancy at the end makes it feel like that's the actual rebirth moment. That's the new
Right.
identity
Yeah.
that
That's what
her
you're building
kind of like
to.
opting into.
A man would write that.
Right. Where she's just like, no, selling the book is the thing.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And then restarting the cycle.
And then, of course,
Yeah.
the big thing, of course,
Scamming.
is the book is a monologue. This movie has no voiceover monologue, no explanation of what she's doing, which makes the movie a 5-star masterpiece that we should just like kiss the feet of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it would suck so much if she was like, maybe I should go to fucking... And it's like, no, we just like, she is inscrutable.
999 out of 1,000 people would leave some amount of voiceover in if the book is this.
They scrape together. Budget is rated between like $4 to $6 million, somewhere in there. But lots of foreign,
I mean,
countries.
just to go back to that real quick,
Scottish
just
fund.
something
Yeah.
like,
No, go ahead.
but like to also having her do voiceover narration would make her inherently a literary character, which
Right,
the
which she's
point
not.
is she is not.
She's fundamentally not.
yeah.
Right.
Some of the people they thought to play her, I love this, that she was like, I wanted like Sissy Spacek, right? Like, like I wanted a Scottish Sissy Spacek age 20.
And then she ultimately gets to work with Sissy. But can you read her quote about Sissy Spacek, which I think is really good? Is it in there?
I wanted someone someone a bit left of center, not conventionally beautiful, ideally with the kind of not of this world quality that Sissy Spacek had. At the time, she likes Christina Ricci, but obviously she's American. The British actresses she names are Samantha Morton, Laura Fraser, Kelly MacDonald. Makes sense just in terms of like age.
Right. She said Laura Fraser she thought was too conventionally attractive, who later becomes best known for Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. She's the tightly wound pharma exec
Yes.
person, Laura Lydia.
Yes. And Kelly MacDonald makes sense as like the most
She's
prominent Scottish actress
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point in
yeah.
time. But Samantha Morton's popping. If I could just circle back to her comment about like things that are more easily sellable in the movie, right? Because later in the dossier, she calls out like how much it kind of collapsed commercially and how angry the financiers were with the movie. And she was like, yeah, I wasn't interested in making like a commercial movie. I think she was getting smart enough to know there were enough elements in this that she could use to trick financiers.
To sell
Sure.
That it's not
Right.
that she
It's a
thought the
rave
movie
movie.
would be a hit.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
she says, hey, if I get an up and coming actress, especially when she identifies someone who has an Oscar nomination under her belt, and I can get her for cheap, and the movie doesn't cost that much, and it has like nudity and rock music and drugs and party scenes, that dumb investors who like don't actually read scripts or understand what movies are go like, that sounds like a hit. And then they watch the final film and they get furious.
Samantha Morton, she sees photographs of her. I like this quote. Look, and she says she looks really quite in a trance. Something with her eyes. It's just she just looks kind of bored, is what Lynn like sort of reads from her, which she just thinks is perfect for Morvern. And on one meeting, she's like, "Yeah, I'm casting you right away." Like, there's no. She'd done this movie called Under the Skin. Obviously, she'd also done like Sweet and Lowdown and stuff, as we said. But Under the Skin is the movie that she shouts out. Obviously, not the Glazer movie. It's just like a 90s British indie drama about girls whose mom dies and they're sad. Never seen it.
I've never seen it either. But what was the big TV thing? A Band of Gold was a TV thing she did that was a very big miniseries. She did a Jane Eyre.
She did Jane Eyre and Emma. I remember those. I don't know what Band of Gold is, but it looks like something. She's, Samantha Morton's from Nottingham. She has a crazy life story. Her parents got divorced, and then her parents I think, just could not raise the children. Her father was an alcoholic. Her mother was in a violent relationship. So she was a ward of court, and then she was in foster homes. And she's like a classic, like, Britain has such a structure for teens who go into like youth drama because there's all these soap operas and all this youth theater and stuff. Like, and she just like got sucked into that world.
But her teen years, I mean,
they were rough.
She survives child sexual abuse. She has serious substance addiction issues. She's unhoused for like a full year.
100%.
And then drama
theater is the stabilizing force.
And then she basically like kind of stabilizes out by her teens, early 20s, starts working. And people were always like, "What's your craft?" And she was like, "My toolbox is my past. I never want to talk about it. Like, I'm pulling from all my experiences. My life was very difficult. It gave me a perspective to understand where to pull emotions from." And she didn't really start talking about this stuff, I feel like, until her late 20s, early 30s in her career.
Right. She's not Scottish. She doesn't use a Scottish accent in this movie.
She's from Nottingham?
She's from Nottingham, which is you all know from Robin Hood, but is no offense to any Nottingham listeners, but kind of a, just boring-ish part of the central England.
It's boring-ish. It's got merry men going around stealing from
unfortunately,
the rich,
it lacks for merry men. It's kind of pretty.
I guess it's true she doesn't have a Scottish accent, but it's like she talks so infrequently, and the most she does speak is when she's like, I felt like she was affecting the British accent, like the London accent for the publishing people, trying to be.
How she it's funny because she's played like she's Mary Queen of Scots in Elizabeth the Golden Age, but and I think she could have done an accent.
Ramsey said she could have done a Scottish accent, but I liked her accent and the fact that she had a similar background.
And she just was like, "I want you to be you. I don't want
your voice is unique enough. I don't want you having to reach outside of yourself. Yeah, too far."
Samantha Morton says the music really helped. She listens to music as part of her like sort of preparation. She would have headphones on.
This was the first movie where they would play the music on set while she was working. So that her process was always listening to stuff right up until they called action and then taking the headphones off.
She loves this
Here's
character.
a movie that lets her wear headphones, that plays the stuff over the loudspeakers. Yeah.
She says she would love to make Morvern Callar 2, but I don't think that'll ever happen. I hear Morvern Callar might be in Avengers Doomsday. Yes.
Do you know there is a sequel book?
Well, let's make it happen.
It is Expanded Universe. I have not even cracked this one open yet, but Alan Turner's These Demented Lands, which is the second installment in the Morvern Callar universe.
She fights Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a book he wrote, I think, just 2 years later. Like it hit her. Anyway. Morton also says she loved being directed by someone who is basically her age. Like, I think Lynn Ramsey's a little older than her, but like, by a young
kind
person
of contemporary. Yeah.
Versus, I assume, on like British TV, it's a lot of like fuddy-duddies. She says she's a beautiful woman. She's a very sexy woman. She's very confident about herself, and that's very infectious. Being around her makes you feel powerful in your own species. Pretty cool. The girl who plays her best friend, Kathleen McDermott, is a true, like, found her at a fucking hairdresser in like Scotland, like total natural professional actor.
Good.
She's great.
She's so good. And I always was like, I mean, I guess she was on like British TV or something after that, but she hasn't really
did she do some work? Yeah, she's got a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, and Dolly Wells is in this.
Yes, she's the book agent.
As the book agent, who I feel like I know
Dolly
from
Wells.
Yeah, like working with Emily Mortimer and Noel Fielding, and
but she's so amazing in Can You Ever Forgive Me? That's a performance I fucking adore.
That feels like a movie you watch a lot.
I watch that movie once a year.
Yeah, you're just like throwing it on.
That is like another like peak depression cinema for me. I think that movie like depicts depression about as well as anything, short of the Lynn Ramsey filmography.
What's
Marielle Heller up to?
No, I know what she's working. Melissa up to. What happened there?
I mean, need I say it? 7 Ben Falcone movies.
Yeah.
She just was pot committed to working with her husband, who I cannot think of a filmmaker.
She's got nothing on the docket.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe she's doing TV.
She like does shit. I don't know. She like hosts like fucking Kids Say the Darndest Things. She's doing SNL. She's like, at the time we're recording this, they just announced she's hosting SNL in a couple.
Yeah, which she'll be funny. Like that.
She'll be great.
That's fine. Yeah,
but it is one of those.
She's
things,
not promoting anything. She's going.
I don't know.
McCarthy,
but I'm like, maybe she's got some fucking Hulu show I'm not aware of.
You never know.
You never know. That's the unfortunate thing.
It is
she could be
one
doing
of
all
those
sorts of shit. She could be on like her own Walking Dead spinoff, and we would never know.
Now that I might be interested to watch.
Yeah,
that could bring me back to The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead: The Book of Tammy.
No,
Tammy's back.
Or she's fucking. Can you ever forgive me, lady? She's just like,
oh my god.
She doesn't even go outside. There's just zombies like moving around outside, but she's just at home, just being like.
But you guys watched Unfrosted, correct?
I saw Unfrosted.
Did you get Unfrosted?
Emily watched Unfrosted. She watched it 10 times a day.
I'm still 100% frosted.
You have not removed the frost.
Staying that way.
She is so good in that movie.
She's funny.
And especially because she's sharing scenes with Jerry Seinfeld, who is fundamentally not a movie star.
He's a committed actor. How dare you?
There's got to be a name for a kind of take where it's like, it's not a hot take. It's just a like, who cares take. Like, sure, I guess she's probably good and
it's
Unfrosted.
A lightly toasted Pop-Tart take.
Right.
It is more a statement about how bad the Falcone movies are. And that her just basically serving like core competency comedy
movies
actress.
Are good.
They're
not like we're watching them.
David, I tried to do a little revisit recently because I was like, my girlfriend and I really like watching like 2000s, 2010s live action comedies that we skipped in theaters at the time because we're just like, we didn't know how good we had it. And so often you throw on something like Drillbit Taylor and you're like, fuck, this is like a 9 out of 10 now.
It's beautifully shot.
Right. It's shot on film. Look at the grain structure. And I was like, let me try to fuck around with some of the Falcones. And especially the ones I skipped. And they are like abysmal. They are like anti-comedy. And then her showing up in like Unfrosted and just having like jokes in the movie shot by like Bill Pope. You're just like, fuck, right. If anyone puts her in a half decent thing, she is good. She has not lost skills. She's just not chosen a good project in fucking forever.
Morvern Callar.
She was Ursula.
She was. Films in Scotland, in Oban, where the novel is set. All those places are real. The flat, the bar.
I said Glasgow. That was like probably insulting for me to assume it because it's like one of the only towns I've heard of.
Well, Glasgow is a major metropolis, and this is a shitty seaside town. No offense to Oban. For all I know, it's a great seaside town. But I do find that in Britain, when you go to the seaside towns, and I might get dragged for this by seaside town residents in Britain, you know, they're from an era before airplanes when it was kind of like, if you want to see the sea and you live in Britain, you got to go to the seaside towns.
So rude, but it's
and then
so
like,
true.
you know, pretty quickly it was kind of like, well, now we have air travel and like, you know, Spain is like an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, so like there's good, you know, like, and so places like Blackpool and Margate, you know, like, yeah, they have their charms, but it's a little bleaker.
But I love that.
Yeah, I think there's it's
cinematic.
No,
it's a vibe. Grittiness, and yet they're on the ocean.
Well,
they're on the sea.
All sorts of
crazy
bygone like holiday options for people who couldn't get on a plane or whatever. Like I went once to the remains of the you've seen Carnival of Souls, the horror film.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I mean, same. That salt air resort that's on the Great Salt Lake is still like the main structure of it is still there, and I like made a pilgrimage to it. It's just like, can you imagine going on vacation to the shores of the Salt Lake to like this sort of Moroccan style like palace?
The boardwalk
so
and all
strange,
that.
Yeah.
I am kind of a vibe though.
It's such a vibe.
I am so sorry. I must interrupt.
Oh no.
I have made a terrible discovery. I was like, there must be some Melissa McCarthy thing she's promoting, right? Her last movie was Unfrosted. her next film is an animated film co-written by Ben Falcone called Margie Claus, where you won't believe this. She plays Santa Claus's wife.
That I'm just kind of like auto F, let's ignore.
Do you know what the actual next upcoming
the
project
JonBenet
is?
Ramsey thing.
A Paramount Plus JonBenet Ramsey show in which her and Clive Owen are playing the parents. Shut that shit down.
Well, luckily,
Straight to jail.
Can we swing Zaslav in there and start Zaslaving other companies' projects?
it is on
Zaz,
Paramount
Zaz.
Plus, so it is essentially shut down already. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Who's going to scale that mountain? I'm just like, that's the last thing anyone should be doing.
I would agree.
Her top of the list.
I just want to say, since we're talking about the seaside town thing, I think snow in movies, good.
Oh yeah.
Always good.
It's real,
Always
especially when it's real. It's real snow.
But I especially
Like
love
a snow
a beach
beach.
snow
It
situation.
is a very stark image.
I'm so obsessed with this, and I've been saying to Nelly, I've been threatening Nelly for years now. I'm like, we need to do a snow beach situation. I want to have like a cabin, but that's on the beach that has a fireplace.
Eternal
Ben,
Sunshine.
until-
Eternal Sunshine, one of the
I was
great
gonna
snow
say-
Then
beach
until
movies.
that moment, I have wonderful news for you that Taylor Swift actually wrote a song called Snow on the Beach featuring Lana Del Rey. And I think that might be the song for you. It's called. we gotta-
that
we're
I
gonna
have
go-
so many mixed feelings about this news right now. I'm
It's
going
too
to
bad
need to
Ben's already gotten
sit on it and
married.
reflect.
'Cause
I
that
know,
would have
first
been-
dance.
First dance.
No, it's true. Like
Just
I
go to
will say
Montauk,
though,
yeah,
Go to
The-
Montauk.
in the winter.
I mean, there
Ben.
is something about going.
Montauk.
Sorry, Emily, please.
I mean, the first part of this film in Oban, I guess, like, you know, the squalor of these like miserable looking house parties was also like deeply familiar to me. It's like I feel like I like grew up going to these parties, jumping through the bonfire. This is like such a thing. But then it's like,
Anything
you-
to feel alive.
yeah, and smoking a zillion cigarettes and slipping on breaking your neck in the kitchen because of like spilled Jello shots or whatever, like all very familiar. But like then you go outside and it's fucking Scotland, and it's like such an insane effect of like, yeah, the kids are doing the same thing they're doing like basically everywhere in the world right now, like they're partying the same way. But then you step outside and you're like in this like stark, like almost overwhelming splendor, and the snow and the mountains and shit. It's like. It's wild.
But if you grow up there and this is your life, you
Yeah,
resent it just as
whatever.
much as wherever you're.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, I've been thinking for a while. Like I grew up the first part of my childhood in Washington State. Every single day, I saw Mount Rainier, like on my way to school, and I totally took it for granted. And then, like, only recently, when I've been looking for things like little vacations that would be easy to go, or like easy flights out of LA or whatever, it's like, huh. You know, it is actually really pretty up there and people like it. But like to me, it just represented just this really boring, like, you know, I did not enjoy my childhood there at all. And like I would never, but yeah, it's like it's sort of wild to be experiencing complete like torpor while you're in the majesty of nature.
Right.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
And then, I mean, then like they shot this film chronologically, which is interesting, but I think often suits, especially like a non-professional actor, just to be like in the story.
And also a movie like
No.
this that isn't plotty, where it's like you need to be able to really chart emotional movements because they're so subtle. And it's like Samantha Morton is like barely kind of, this is a real like the camera can see you think performance. It's so internalized. She is an actress who feels translucent, you know, is not like emoting overly. And so, yeah, it's like the continuity of that is really hard to track if there's not clear, like, oh, in this scene, I'm reacting to this thing and I can just stay in the moment.
I just do not know as a director. Like, I mean, you have to be like, yeah, you have to basically be like telepathic with your actor, like to get that sort of continuity and to have this like legible, readable thing that's like more interested and open than any voiceover narration or whatever it would be that to follow. I don't know. I just think it's like, it always awes me.
It's interesting when I was thinking about this while we were watching it, that like when directors have specific acting styles, when directors have like established, this is what their movies are like, and these are what the performances are like in them, it feels like, well, first of all, if you become successful enough, if you become Wes Anderson and it becomes so known that any actor signing up, any actor auditioning, any actor offered a role is like, I think I know what he wants. I think I can guess how he wants this performed, right? But for someone like Lynn Ramsey on her second film, but even now when it's her fifth movie, but like she's not super ubiquitous. How much of it is like a rehearsal process, meeting, discussions with actors to attune everyone to the same wavelength versus how much of it is a kind of tone setting on set, a kind of like maintaining of mood, and like I think a really careful curation of the people, how you like staff the entire movie and music, and yeah.
I mean, I can imagine, like, I would probably cheat and use music if I'm thinking about how I would do, like, just like if you just know that this is going, like, you kind of like have this Pavlovian response to these different music cues and stuff but yeah, I don't know. It's wild. I will say I feel like Jen Lawrence and Rob Pattinson at this point knew there's a kind of performance that you do in a Lynn Ramsey movie, and I sensed that a little bit.
Yes.
Not a negative at all, by the way.
That was the
but
first
like,
case of that, and maybe of her reputation preceding her in that kind of way. And I read an interview with Jennifer Lawrence just the other day where she was like, the thing that's like crazy about working with her is there's a 7-page dialogue scene, and we've like worked it and we're word perfect, and we get on set and she's just like, I don't think there should be any words in this.
Let's just jump up and down, take off our
Truly.
clothes, and yeah.
Smash her head.
Right, and there's no safety net, and she's like, if it's not good, I won't use it. And if there's 3 seconds of a good piece in there, I might use it in a different place, you know? Like, that's part of it, I think, sometimes is not establishing an environment where everyone is so locked in that everything is perfect, but more creating a space where people feel free to sort of explore stuff, and then knowing how to identify the pieces you need.
So the first chunk of this movie, we've discussed some, but are there other things we want to talk about in the Scotland section before we?
Well, I mean, that I always kind of forget that it's really kind of split in two.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
basically at the halfway point.
Right. I was kind of like, right, it's only like 15 minutes in Scotland. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it's like 45. Right. Not a movie about someone clubbing the entire time. Right.
No.
It is her kind of like pretending to be normal, quote unquote, you know, like whatever, just kind of like acting like nothing's happened, I guess.
You don't see the suicide note and have her put her name on the book until like minute 30.
Right. She doesn't come around. Well, you see the suicide note right away, but
you see lines of it. You don't get to read the full
I suppose
thing.
that's true. But
Yeah.
you see her make the active decision. It's not
Print
like
out the novel.
this happens and then she just gets up and is like, I'm going to print out the novel, put my name on it, and send it out.
Which
she comes to that decision.
Like, it's so earned by the time she does it, because it's a pretty extreme thing to do. But by the time she does it, it's like, okay, we're ready, and we're ready for some action. It's like we've been in hanging man mode this whole time, and finally we're ready to like go somewhere.
And it's been several days with the body.
Yes.
And you're seeing her be like, fuck, let me just put this somewhere else. Like, I'll deal with this tomorrow. But you're aware of the fact that you're like, there's a ticking clock to when this starts rotting. There's a clicking clock.
Deodorizing in the apartment. I can't even imagine.
Right.
Like,
but it's only going to become a worse problem.
Oh, does she burn the pizza on purpose, you think? To cover up the smell?
I don't think that was like
an interesting take, though. I like that.
I think she just got distracted and fucked it up.
Has anybody in a Lynn Ramsey movie ever cooked anything like successfully? I'm just thinking of the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
It's just bad. It's just, yeah, I love it though. It's.
I'll also say, as a connoisseur, I think oftentimes a frozen pizza benefits from being a little overcooked.
Yeah, I would say I would always go over versus under with a frozen pizza.
And it gives it a little extra flavor. It gives it a little punch.
I love punch.
Okay, well, I'll say I think there's something weirdly sentimental about her transporting the body and picking this beautiful location.
Right.
It's so fucked up.
Atop a hill.
But it feels like she's giving him a proper burial with like respect, weirdly.
Yes. I also, I said when we were watching this, like, that's a pretty fucking good Halloween costume. It'd be tough to do in public, but Morvern topless with the Walkman taped to her torso.
Yeah.
The sunglasses, the necklace.
The cognac
and then
glass.
the cognac glass. And then like just increasing blood splatter.
It's so good.
It's pretty unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. It goes from that, which feels so, I mean, clearly she has to get completely wasted in order to like do it, like actually do the physical act of it. But then, yeah, you're right. Like once it's the burial, it feels like the complete flip side of it. Okay, like now this is past the actual physical unpleasantness of this dead body. It's like, okay, I can actually put this person to rest now. And like And then there's just this moment of total elation after she does it, where she's like running down the hill. And that's like when you're like, oh, wait, this is somehow a ticket out for her. Like this whole thing has been, she's going to turn it into that.
And there's almost this like 3 women thing of she has almost magically become a different person now. There's at least in real time, she's starting to process this like new identity of, well, I have to maintain some continuity. I'm here with my friend, but like I'm changed by this event. And also, what if I start molding myself in a new way to meet the person who has written that book and has submitted it and can't even talk about what it is or where it came from?
Kind of also a nice location for jeans, if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is what we're getting to. Yes.
Oh, he sees something being buried and his mind goes right to jeans.
Wow. What if you did like a limited edition, like single malt scotch buried with the jeans?
Oh, interesting.
Fuck.
So you sort of
That's
like,
good.
or what about, I mean, I don't want to give you too many ideas, but what about like barrel aged jeans?
That's
Like a scotch.
Yeah.
Damn it, you guys.
That is
I
good.
see. I unfortunately knew you might like that idea.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
You know, I
Maybe I like, kind of toast the inside.
Yeah.
sure,
Just
like a frozen pizza.
This and Nellie's like, Ben, what are you rolling up the stairs? Nothing.
Nothing.
Boom, boom, boom.
I was talking about Ben being worried that this movie was going to be too emotionally devastating. But at one point I turned over and he was crying Kiki's Delivery Service style. And I said, Ben, what is it? And he just went, it's a shame she took those jeans off his body.
Right. Should have left him on
They
there.
should have left
Let
him on
ripen.
before they buried. Yeah.
They did look like nice jeans.
We both laughed at the bit when she decides to go out to the pub with her friends and she reaches into his pocket for money.
That is the kind of like gallows humor that I just adore, where it's like, it's also like, oh, she's not going to take all like 40 quid or whatever. She's going to put the other half back in and then say sorry. It's just like,
And also, like, he's not going to use it.
right.
This isn't his inheritance.
What if it was like Egyptian times though, and you needed like money
To
to get
Oh,
buried
pay,
with
to
like
cross
stuff
the river
to pay.
Styx.
Yeah.
I think it like, I mean, the reason it's funny because it is like, it speaks to this total in between state of like whatever pre-stage of grief she's in, where it's like, I don't even know if this is real yet. Like it's this, it's so good.
The subject matter of every one of her films, which is fictional, feels like the kind of bizarre human story that would then become like a news item and then get turned into a shitty Netflix documentary or a Paramount Plus series starring Melissa McCarthy, right? Where you're like, this story is so bizarre and the twists are so weird, and the twists are these little details of things that are often retold to us in these very dramatic, salacious, kind of like scandalous ways. But in the moment, it's just like a woman standing over a dead body being like, well, I don't have money on
I
me.
have to go to the
He has it in his
here.
pocket.
Yeah.
Right. And then you could just imagine an FBI detective like straight to camera going like, when we searched the body, we found fingerprints inside his pockets and 45 quid missing. You know, and it suddenly feels like this fucking monster.
It's
Right.
weird that these American cops are trying to solve this strange thing.
I mean, yeah, there is this is a movie, and I think this is why I liked it originally. Like, it's about a scammer. It's a movie about a scam, and it's really hard to think about this now after this wave of sort of millennial scammer narratives, your Anna Delveys and all that, which are told in that fashion or this sort of dishy, like whatever fashion. It's like, no, this is actually about the psychological state that drives one to scam. And it's a lot different than, the dishy New York Mag story or whatever.
Yeah. And right. We now live in a world that regurgitates those stories and spits them back out to us 10 ways. We are like so inundated with the same narratives being repeated over and over again. Yeah, I love how like incremental this is. And also that, not to jump ahead, but it like knows exactly when to get out of the story. Which is like, she has gotten the check and we have no idea what happens next.
I feel like she plays the slow dawning on her face that 100 means 100,000 pounds.
It's
so well.
It's so funny. It makes
she
me laugh
doesn't do
every
like a
single
big
time.
laugh
No.
or like a sort of crazy face.
It
Like
looks like she has to fart. Like it's
Right.
like she does this thing where she goes, I love it. It makes me laugh every single time because she goes like, Can I go? like it's just this. It's such a great way to play it.
It's also like a Chauncey Gardner moment where they keep asking her questions and her not knowing how to answer makes them go like, fuck, we're dealing with like,
brilliant.
This is a genius and like a master negotiator. She doesn't have reps. She says 100,000. She doesn't even respond.
Works at a supermarket. Right. Oh my God.
Right. And then like, oh my God, we're going to be able to sell this so well. The like fucking like tabloid interviews with supermarket novelists. Let's talk about the Jet1 holiday.
The what holiday?
Isn't that the meme?
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. I think it's Jet2. And you can save 50 pounds per person.
Was that like an omnipresent commercial when you were growing up?
No. I think it's a more recent commercial because I've read interviews with the lady who, did the voiceover.
Okay.
And apparently she's as bemused as any of us. But it became a TikTok meme. You put that over some hilarious footage of someone's, whatever, holiday going wrong.
But I feel like it's now become that audio over footage of literally anything.
Sure, right now it's any catastrophe, really.
It's 6'7". It's all this shit feels like the point is that the meme doesn't mean anything and it doesn't make sense.
I think nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
Okay, nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. She goes on a Jet2 holiday.
Have you ever been on a Jet2 holiday, David?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like that was the budget airline,
and
then there's just all these countries. I mean, where they're going is like club country, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like
they're in Spain.
They're in Spain. It's Almeria is where they shot it. I mean, there's lots of places. Almeria is on the coast. I mean, on the continent. But obviously, people go to Ibiza and like the other islands and all that. I never did that. That's kind of like going to Cancun, right? Like
totally.
in America, right? Like that's where it's like you're going to Club City.
Yeah.
But like I went to Eastern Europe where you can like basically just like drink like a fool.
Mm-hmm.
You could take a plane that cost £1.
Oh my God.
Like back in the EasyJet days. I don't think that really exists anymore.
Actually, sounds like nothing does beat a Jet2 holiday if it's £1.
But like the whole thing.
What about Venga Airlines?
I mean, the Venga bus is fuck. I don't know the lyrics. Is coming and everybody's jumping.
Yeah.
New York to San Francisco. Wow. I feel like the whole thing with EasyJet obviously is you would get on. It was like £1 plus airport fees. So it would be like £30, but it would still be so cheap.
And you have to bring your own seat?
I mean, that was basically the vibe. It was certainly, there weren't even like boarding groups. It was just like, all right, everybody on. And like the people getting on weren't like, passengers in 3-piece suits.
Sure.
Like this is
each passenger
party plane.
Must contribute 1 cup of fuel.
Comes with a little measure.
A paper cup of fuel.
God. I mean, and there would be these cities like Tallinn in Estonia or whatever, where, they'd opened up post Cold War and then they joined the EU. And then they were basically like, fuck, like, we're happy to like have people from other countries just come and spend money here. Like the beer is cheap. We'll have some, you know what I mean? Like my friend had a stroke in Bratislava to relearn the English language. He's doing okay.
Oh
He's doing
my God.
okay.
I mean, speaking of, do you know that like Samantha Morton had an insane stroke?
Yeah, that happened later.
Like plaster fell on her head from a set while she was filming. And it happened, she like took 18 months off and basically had to relearn how to like speak and walk and everything. And then Synecdoche is the movie she makes right after that.
She's amazing.
Incredible in, but she said like that's 18 months of therapy straight onto that set. And then you see like her career after that is very different.
Yeah. I feel like she's become a much more erratic presence. And
she directed a movie that I think is quite good, but is incredibly difficult.
What, The Unloved?
Yes. It is a film.
It's obviously about her.
It's a reflection of her very difficult childhood.
Interesting.
And she's continued doing stuff. But
she's doing stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, more supporting roles and stuff these days. What did I just see her in?
Good question. Well, of course, you loved her in The Whale.
No, it was Anemone.
Sure.
Which she plays a similar role as the whale.
See, this is the shame. I feel like this is often how they deploy
I'm excited for her to be in the Odyssey.
Like Marie.
Bet you she's playing someone normal.
Marie Barty Salinas did call out that this is a little mini You're a Samantha Morton for us. Because we're starting off with this. We have the Odyssey. And I will say there is an unnamed third Samantha Morton movie already on the schedule.
A third Samantha Morton movie?
Yeah.
And of course, we've discussed Minority Report in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only?
But we're going to have
other?
3 Samantha Morton movies in the first half of this year.
Yeah. How many Fantastic Beasts episodes did we do? 6 or 7?
We did 7 on the first movie. That is a crazy thing that she plays. We need to talk about Kevin's mom basically in that movie.
Isn't she like an evangelist too? Is like she has like a weird kind of like Bible thumping vibe in it. But she is, yes, Ezra Miller's in those movies. Those movies are a real kind of like faded dream to me.
Dumbledore's
really none of my business what happens in
yeah,
those
it
movies.
is kind of none of anyone's business.
Yes.
Don't, yeah.
And the third movie with what Mads Mikkelsen is now the third Grindelwald, basically. And he's like, I will rig the magic election. And you're like, he's doing, can he just try to take over the world already? Like, what is this?
Is Fantastic Beasts the ultimate, like, I'm sorry for you or congratulations?
I ain't reading all that.
True.
I know something needs to be said.
Like, okay, so I know that there are crimes of Grindelwald, but are they like
there
good?
Are some.
Are we happy for him about them, or are they bad?
No,
like we're bad.
He's
They're
not
bad.
Good.
He's not good.
No,
okay.
He's a bit of a rascal.
Okay.
He's like a wizard Epstein.
He's unlike a Morvern Callar type. He has done a few things wrong.
He's not like a fun scam goddess.
Yeah, you do not in fact have to hand it to him.
You don't. In fact, we should stop handing it to Grindelwald. He's so sneaky though, because
it's just
what
I'll rant about it all the time. You know, they do the first movie, the movie's a success. They're like, great, here comes more. The second movie is called The Crimes of Grindelwald. What happens in it? He begins to inch towards debuting some crimes. So it's like, well, okay, well, you guys need to move it along because this movie didn't do very well.
Plans for crimes,
right? And then like they're like, okay. Third movie, we've recast him. Depp's gone. Mads Mikkelsen. It's called The Secrets of Dumbledore, and you're like, and I'm like, wrap it up.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You guys aren't going to make a fourth. Just wrap it up. Whatever your plan was that was supposed to be, 5 movies?
I think at some point it went to 6.
Let's compress it to 3. And they're like, what if instead he and Dumbledore kind of have a knowing glance at the end of the movie and there's way more to go?
There's
like,
an exclusively gay
Wait,
moment.
so the end of it, like a secret is only hinted at the very end of The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Basically. He tries to rig the magic election, which involves some sort of magical moose. It's like the magic moose like kneels at like the winner, and he's like, I'll do a spell that rigs the election, and they like stop him. It's not like he tries to take over the world and they stop him.
But the other secret,
and then when they stop him, he's like, well, I'll be off, Dumbledore, who I maybe am gay with. See you later.
Right. Like Grindelwald exists in like deep Harry Potter appendix shit as like this was Wizard Hitler. He like predated Voldemort. He was the worst of them all. And then after the books and the movies are over, J.K. Rowling's like, and by the way, of course, Dumbledore's gay. And then starts pointing towards the idea that Dumbledore and Grindelwald had some hidden romance when they were young. So then the third movie is that, and people are like, oh shit. And the movie ends with them looking at each other and like raising an eyebrow.
I'll put it this way, and then I'll stop talking about this.
No, we're going to keep talking about it.
In the Harry Potter franchise, yes, in the 7th book, you learn that Dumbledore had a deeper relationship with Grindelwald, who you've sort of heard about as like a wizard Hitler. And yes, in fact, they were very close before his famous 1945 duel with Grindelwald that defeated him, which is in Harry Potter, obviously the analog to World War II, right? So 1945 was their big showdown. Fantastic Beasts 1 is set in 1926. Fantastic Beasts 2 is set in 1927. Fantastic Beasts 3 is set in 1932. It's like they're not even close.
It's also
to the big showdown.
It's even crazier than what you set up, because when they announced it, they were like, a fun idea, a standalone adventure in the Harry Potter universe. Different time period, a guy with a suitcase chases a bunch of creatures. Then everyone sees the first movie, it's a hit, but people don't love it. And they're also like, it's weird. The second half, it just kind of dissolves into like Harry Potter deep lore prequel shit. And J.K. Rowling's like, don't worry. I've planned 5 more movies that are going to get all tangled up in that. And they're like, what about the Fantastic Beast guy? And they're like, don't really worry about him. He's still here. And then he points at shit that's happening.
So true.
I just want to make sure I've got this right, because I've been so out of touch with that whole franchise. So Grindelwald, he both does crimes and is gay?
Correct.
Okay, incredible. Okay.
Yeah, go off, Queen, some might say.
Okay.
But we don't have to hand it to him.
We don't.
No. I would never suggest that.
No, let's just draw a clear line here.
Morvern Callar. We do have to hand it to her.
The movie changes film stocks when she gets to Spain.
Absolutely.
That's the big visual move.
Yeah. She tells her friend, we're fucking going to Spain. Don't worry about money. I booked us a place. We're going for like 2 weeks. I already booked I'm going to tell your boss you're taking time off. Her friend is like, by the way, I did fuck your boyfriend. And she's like, well, let's go to Spain.
Still go on the trip. Right.
Yeah.
Disassociation is not paused.
I mean, she offers it up as the like, I'm sorry, I can't go on the trip with you because I betrayed you and you're going to be so angry.
She's like, okay, no, I've got even worse plans for this girl now.
Right.
And she has shipped the book out.
Yeah,
before she mails the book and then calls them and is like, I hope you got it. I'm going to Spain. Click. And then the latter half of the movie, I would say, is even lighter on plot than the first half. Not that it's plotless, but like it is a lot of vibes.
Well, speaking of vibes, can we just talk a little bit about the soundtrack?
We should,
because it is such a part of the film. It is like a motivating if there is ever no plot, at least she's still like listening to the next track on her dead boyfriend's mixtape,
and she's almost experiencing and processing her emotions exclusively through the music.
Sort of a Garden State Galaxy situation.
I think kind of a Garden State situation.
Absolutely.
I want to get through like 15 minutes without like mentioning a Marvel movie, a Harry Potter movie.
Wrong podcast. Okay, so.
Excuse me. That's really rude of you to say when our president is right there on our top shelf. President Red Hulk. We must obey him.
There he is.
And we are contractually obligated to mention a Marvel movie every 20 minutes.
The Crimes of Red Hulk.
What's his like agenda? What's his
more pills?
Nothing good. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I have hallucinated this because I know that at some point I have seen an image that is the insert on the mixtape.
I was trying to pull it up on the Amazon version, and it is so blurry that
you can't. Yeah,
but it is in there.
Okay,
yeah,
it must just be in that physical release.
There's a handwritten track list in the inside. Yeah,
but like, because I wanted to know like what is actually canonically on the playlist and
what's diegetic.
What's diegetic. Yeah. But like, my feeling of like once you're like, are they playing Ween at the pub? You're like,
hell yeah.
No, we're not. The whole thing is whether it's diegetic or on the soundtrack, it's all the mixtape. Is my personal theory of it. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Except maybe like the techno music is probably not on the mixtape.
Because then at the end they reveal that she was listening
to. Yeah, right. Yeah. Although, is that a flashback or does she just go back to the club? I like to think she goes back to the club.
I think she goes back to the club.
Oddly dedicated to the one
I would do.
Not on the soundtrack, despite being an iconic final needle drop. Is that possibly just because the Mamas and the Papas are annoying to negotiate with? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yes. What are some? We got Can. A lot of Can. Heavy on the
Guy
Can.
liked Can.
Because there's Can, and then there's a Can member named Holger.
Yeah, Holger Sukai. Yeah,
Sukai. I've never listened to his stuff.
It's so good. I
gotta fuck with it.
Oh my god, the one that the thing that Fragrance is on, which is like an incredible track, is like 10 minutes long or whatever. That album is amazing. I can't remember the name of it.
I'm gonna find it. Can. I think Krautrock guys, right? They're like, I've listened to some Can because when I got into Radiohead. The cool kids were like, well, you really should listen to Can if you like Radiohead because they're just fucking doing Can.
No, I totally remember I think I had a roommate's boyfriend who burned me all of the Can records on a CD.
That's why I'm getting back to CD. I'm going to be burning.
Yeah,
I'm so embarrassed.
They're going to call 911 on my house because it's going to be burning. What's the song you mentioned? The
Fragrance.
Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed to admit that I actually started listening to Can after hearing about them for so long, being this like quintessential band, that LCD and the song Shouting Them Out.
Oh, yeah.
What finally got me to do it.
Well, that's a while back. That song came out in like 2005, so I think that's fine. That's probably
right. I know.
Yeah. Or no, that song was even earlier than that. So you're good. You're still cool about it.
Thank you. You're a lot, Mama.
No, you got Goon Compass, Aphex Twin, which I love.
I love Aphex Twin. Who is Goon Compass?
That's the name of the song.
It's the name of the song.
Goon Compass. Okay, I was like, that's not the name of some band I don't know.
No,
right?
Goon Compass is also a name that we have given my dog, and the joke is that the track Goon Compass is playing in his brain at all times, so occasionally I'll just play it on the phone when he's acting really stupid, and it's really fun.
Goon Compass is what you hold up at a red pill convention.
And it was
Nice.
followed by
Thank you.
the subtle goon knife. I don't know.
Yeah.
Boards of Canada. Speak
Boards
to
of
them,
Canada.
Scottish
So
electronic
important.
guys,
yeah.
right?
Like massively important to
It's
me.
insane how both them and Aphex Twin have continued to feel so just.
Yeah, you don't listen to Aphex Twin and feel like, oh yeah, this is the 90s or whatever. It feels like now,
It's
right?
I gotta
now.
say, they feel certified fresh.
Thank you
You
for
heard it here
saying
Thank you
first.
for saying that.
Red tomato for Aphex Twin.
Well, there's also the crazy thing of Lonely Island sampling Aphex Twin for the Iran So Far Away thing in an era where they were like, these are like dumb videos that air on SNL one time.
Right.
And we're sampling it.
To license
And
this,
it doesn't matter and it never replays. And then they put it on YouTube and it got like 8 trillion views and NBC had to pay them so much fucking money.
Good days.
Yeah.
Broadcast.
Yes.
Let's give them a sort of like,
Broadcast stereo lab. Like this is just like the coolest shit. I'm sorry.
Seriously.
It's like my music.
so why?
Same.
So,
Broadcast was such a band for me
Yeah.
in high school.
So
R.I.P. man.
who's
Yeah.
doing this? Is it is it Ramsey? Like
Well, that's
who's got
it.
such a like finger on the pulse taste?
I wouldn't put it past her because the soundtrack of Die My Love is also fantastic in a totally
Right.
different way.
Yeah.
But like, is there a listing of the tape in the book?
Let me
No, I
check.
don't.
I was
I don't
looking.
think.
I
And
feel
some
like
of
there was
this
something
music
here
is
in
like
the
post the
dossier.
book, like broadcaster.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So it's just Lynn Ramsey being cool as fuck, which like shocking no one.
The vibe I get is that it's her.
Yeah.
She wanted Mamas and the Papas at the end because she wanted the final needle drop to be emotional in the way that the rest of the soundtrack is not.
In
and
the
to
book,
be just a swerve.
in the book, Morvern has tapes that are made up already. It's not something he leaves her as a present. That was a new invention. I felt the tape was like a letter to her. The music's great because it's part of the narrative. I saw her boyfriend as Alan Warner, really.
Oh, I love
An
that.
intellectual who's also a muso, seeing this less academic girl. It was important to start the feeling early on.
New one.
a muso.
Yeah, they don't name the tracks in the book. And
okay.
I used electronic music that was very cinematic and sound design in order to avoid the MTV pop promo feel. That is what's effective about it, is that it's a very hip soundtrack that also doesn't feel like, and now that's what I call
Right, it doesn't feel like a bunch of labels were like, hey, can we get our cool song?
No,
on
or
the
even
soundtrack?
like just pulling the NME.
Well, yeah, because
chart
also
or whatever.
what label is going to be like, and she does what to the body? Okay, yeah, no, you can use any tracks.
And
yeah.
also from a playlist curation standpoint, I love that it also has a mix of older stuff and eclectic stuff.
Well, that's
like
the thing.
Like
the
Lee
newest
Scratch
stuff.
Perry.
Yeah.
Velvet Underground.
Now, the two of you would make a lot of mixtapes, right?
Oh
When
my
you were
God.
teens.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I would as
know.
well.
Yes, but I'm sure I'm just saying, like,
And was it a
our
mix of
mixtape-
Coolio songs? Your favorite Coolio
I'll
songs?
throw a track or two on there.
I feel like Griff, you and I also made mixtapes, but maybe they probably curated them in very cool ways. Like, right? Like you guys were probably good at like having the energy go up and down.
Oh yeah, and then like in the days of actual tapes before the CD thing, because there was a couple years where I was still doing that. You would like hook up the tape recorder to the TV and do a little movie quote in there in between songs. Like
This is what I'm talking. This is bespoke tape making.
I will say
over
this.
here.
I have no doubt that Emily and Ben's tapes were cooler, but I was doing that kind of intentionality.
Well, so what I want a Griffin, a teen.
I would
Griffin
have to
mixtape.
dig in and see if I could find one.
Yeah.
But I was very into the ordering and cutting things up with skits and
Right.
fucking
I
other
never did
shit.
skits. I would as it
Or
wasn't
movie
to ordering.
quotes. I would like get movie quotes from fucking like Kazaa.
I would be taping off the radio, and I would have like my thing, like I plug my aux cord ready to go, like, and I would hear the song starting, and be like, okay, perfect. Like, I would do that. I remember that.
I would
I guess
have
that's
a sort of
pre-burning.
Yeah, I would have one like a tape. It wasn't even a mixtape. It was just like I have this one ready to go if like a song I like is playing on the radio, and I'll just like hit record.
I also made music video mixtapes. Did you guys do that? Where like I would have a blank tape in my VCR because I fucking watched MTV and shit all day. And then when something I knew I loved was coming up, I had like 2 tapes of like
See, I was the person who got those because I never had MTV growing up. So like my friends would take pity on me and be like, here's all the cool shit that's happening
like
on MTV.
FYI, this is the last year of cool music videos.
Yeah.
So I would watch, like Busta Rhymes videos, or whatever, like anything where I was like
Coolio, yeah.
Okay, Coolio, maybe like every single thing Coolio had ever done. Like,
let's try and see if we could dig up maybe one of our mixtapes.
I know, that's
and
a good
we can
challenge.
Put out like the track list.
I'm
Boner jams.
I must have a listing somewhere. I mean, I really I did a lot in high school. Then when I was in college and I was I did radio at LMU at KXLU 88.9. I got much more into it as like this professional endeavor, and I would do my own art for it. I would make mixes that I would send out to a bunch of people that like had a title and were like a quarterly mix or something.
Would you, Griffin, this is for you, would you give the tapes to girls? Genuine question.
No, I was looking through.
It's kind of like you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, there was. I'm going through a thing right now, feeling very annoyed at the fucking Apple Corporation.
Yeah, they're no good.
Who had this whole like iTunes match feature where it's like, oh, if you take the time to upload something that isn't on the Apple Music server,
Griffin,
we'll save it here.
You are talking about why I am saying things like maybe it's time to get back into CDs.
Yeah.
Like all of these services have failed us.
All of them have failed us.
Yes.
There was a big high school crush, long distance on off person, young woman, where we would mail each other CDs with very long
How postal
letters
service of you.
It was.
But that's how I first heard of Dentel. Like one half of postal service was on a mixed CD sent to me from he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was like at it here in New York at school, and I would like get cool music sent to me by this like. It was so fun.
This was, we like lived a state apart, and we would have like, 3-hour like Sunday night phone conversations, AIM. And then like the big love language was the mailing of these CDs. And I had them on my phone forever. And I'm looking now, and iTunes has like gutted them, where it has like 3 out of 18 tracks left because of just whatever fucking licensing agreements they have.
So I still have a drive that's basically everything I ever burned like that, and got indexed and everything, but like it's on its last legs. Like I get anytime I've plugged it in, I'm like,
need that
oh
drive.
God. Yeah. It's like this big.
I lived that way forever, and the promise of iTunes match, I fucking fell for it.
Yeah.
I fell for it. I fell for their fucking
award. I gotta say though, even now,
giving it to Apple.
I have just had another, and it's like a lateral move, but I finally was like, I can't. And this is a big move for me. I had to get off of Spotify. Like I just could no longer in a good conscience be on Spotify. But like my life was on Spotify for like basically from the day they started. I had like a premium membership. I had so many playlists.
Because I make a playlist every month.
Same.
And I've been doing it for so long. And it's like almost a journal of my life.
Me too.
I can't give it up.
But I did the shift. They have a thing called Song Shift, and it's okay, but I shifted everything to Apple Music, I guess, because it was like
this
the other
is my
one.
problem.
Yeah.
I made that move, and then I just started to get annoyed with Apple Music. So now I'm withdrawing. I downloaded something called Doppler. I'm creating an iPod back on my iPhone. And that's right. And so those dang corporations don't have their grips on me at all.
Sucks.
Dude.
I was like methodically buying CDs through like 2012 and like importing them and then choosing like the best high quality version, the cover and everything. And I was just like, it's all saved here, and then there's a backup, and then I got rid of the backup, and then it's fucking cloud.
They got us. They got us with the cloud.
You want to hear about a really sad, like going to Amoeba Music on Sunset Boulevard? Well, it doesn't exist there anymore. I mean, it exists, but it's not the same.
There's the main one still in San Francisco exists, right? Like
I think the Berkeley one, but going there, loading up like a stack this high of CDs that cost between like $5 and $6 a piece, burning them all, like ripping them all, and like it came out to like 20 cents a song, and it's like that's sustainable as like a college student who like was constantly broke. That was still sustainable compared, and like everybody, like I feel like we all do Spotify and shit now because it's like, oh, $10.99 a month, you can have like the entire music catalog. But it's like, no, it doesn't.
By the way, we're buying you CDs at Amoeba. The musicians have already made their money.
Yeah.
But it's just also just that. I mean, whatever. Now we're getting it's Andy Rooney-ifying in here, but just like the vibe of like I would go to the record store. I've definitely done this rant before. I would have enough money for like 1 to 2 CDs, right? And so like I would take forever on my choices. And then the choices I made, I had to listen to them to death because I was like, I spent the money. Like, I'm not just like putting these on a shelf and I'll get to it.
No, you're like, there's 3 weeks of this being
this is
one
the choice.
CD I'm bringing with me in a Discman every day. You know the album backwards and forwards. My like semester in Change of CalArts was defined by convincing a friend to drive me to a movie I wanted to see at the ArcLight and then going to Amoeba for like an hour afterwards.
Oh my God, yeah. That was the great one too. Like I for my first couple of years, I was at Loyola, so I was like clear on the other end of town. So yeah, I was like going to Hollywood was like a thing I did on the weekend, and it was like those were the spots. Yeah. It's like Fred 62, ArcLight, and
well, even beyond that, like even when I stopped sending mixes to people, and I was never on Spotify, I was just like committed to the fucking Apple Corporation. But I used to like make a playlist for every year of my life. To be like, I can look back on this and this will be the 12 tracks that like evokes the feelings of what I went through that year, whether they're like songs linked to specific events or moments or people, or it's just what I was into or discovered. It was less like songs that came out that year and more just like what was in my rotation. And at a certain point, I just fucking stopped doing that. I never listen to music. So listen to goddamn podcasts.
Well, I think like I think a lost art, in addition to making the mix, is the interpretation of mixes that are made for you and like reading all sorts of shit into it that you want to be there. But to steer us back on topic a little bit,
let's go back to Morvern Callar.
James's mix for Morvern, I think, is a more interesting suicide note than the one he actually leaves.
Right,
if this is what it is, absolutely.
Yeah. For a guy who wrote a whole book that she doesn't even read.
And if it truly ends on dedicated to the one I love.
Yeah.
Which is a great ending for a
heart-ripping.
Like for a guy who's trying to express himself, this feels like the words that he can't say, which is also very twinned with like Lynn Ramsey's approach to storytelling, which is like, these people can't say these things themselves. These things like are bigger than words.
Yeah. And it's clear that that is a language that they actually did share. Like he leaves her his music and that's what she packs up. Like that is the priority when she finally leaves the apartment. She takes all of his record collection with her. And it's like that more so than his pursuit of writing seems to be the thing that like they connected with on some sort of spiritual level.
Keep the music is like his ultimate I love you.
Yeah,
truly. More than saying I love you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
We don't really know, what Morvern's interests are or whatever. She's so opaque, right? Like it's hard to understand what
Well, her bluff with Dolly Wells of like, isn't that what's great about being a writer that you can kind of piss off? It doesn't feel like her trying to imagine what a writer would say. It's her testing out this life for herself.
Right, totally.
Where she's like, if people buy that I'm a writer and they give me a bunch of money, then what do? I sit around all day and I smoke and I go like, I'm coming up with something.
21 or whatever. I mean, it's like, it's not like Morvern needs a direction in life.
No, but I think she wants to not. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think her dream is just to like float.
Sure.
Yeah.
At least for now. But she is disassociating.
Well, this is the thing though about like, I don't know. I always am turning this over my head when I watch this movie because it's like she talks about she likes the ants. And like she is, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny watching this so close back to back with Die My Love, which has a lot of very physical performance, very external performance of like boredom, or like I keep using the word torpor, but like I feel like that's what she's really, really good at expressing. And like Jennifer Lawrence is doing that in that film as well. But it's like here, like there's sort of the built-in excuse of everybody's on ecstasy all the time. So you can kind of like, be feeling the branches of the trees all the time. There's like an excuse for that. But like, I don't know, but it still feels like what we're picking up is that there is some kind of internal poetry in Morvern Callar, even if it is not this studied kind of thing that her boyfriend was into. Like she wants something. There is a lyricism. There is like an artist spirit in her somewhere. It just doesn't express itself in the way that like, is typically legible. And like, you can imagine if she is ever called upon to like make a second book, it's probably not going to go so well. But that doesn't mean that she's not in some way tuned in,
right?
Or like an emotion, living an emotional lyrical life in some way or another.
I also think it's fascinating in the meeting with the book publishers. I mean, they're like hitting it off. They're like loving her. They're buttering her up. They're offering her the money, and then you cut to like the sun has set and they're still drinking. Right? This has gone beyond business deal. She's seemingly already literally signed the contract, and yet they're here still talking. And she mentions the supermarket thing. And they're like, oh my God, supermarket novel. That's unbelievable. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Like sells itself. We got to get a picture. And she holds the like champagne glass up to her face. And she almost looks embarrassed in that moment. And I don't read it as oh fuck, if I get attention, does the spotlight on me increase the possibility of being revealed to be a sham? I think it's more that like the attention isn't really what she fucking wants. This is like means to an end to buy an idea of freedom. But what you're saying of there is some internal poetry in her, but she doesn't seem to have any need to have that validated by the outside world. Even her closest friends.
But it's even still, it's like she is experiencing being perceived perhaps in a way that she never has been before. Maybe it's because of like false auspices or whatever. But like the idea that somebody would look at her and say, or project this idea that she has depth, that there's something really interesting there. Like I feel like because I know exactly the moment you're talking about, and that's what I read from it is like, oh my God, somebody thinks I'm sure that her boyfriend loved her, but I'm sure her boyfriend was like, oh, this is my working class girlfriend or whatever.
Right.
And like now she's having these eyes on her, thinking of her as being somebody who like, wow, she's full of ideas and feeling and depth and all these things. And it must be like, yeah, it's just an interesting suit to put on, I think.
Well, yeah, and in her like the Lynn Ramsey canon of outsiders, she's the only outsider who is like given a path to the inside. And the fact that the movie ends before we see any of the results of that, all we know is that the door has been opened for her, creates like really, really interesting ambiguity of like, what the fuck happens to this person?
Well,
you know? And
I mean, there's always Sasha who got left in reverb and lived off oranges and juice and burgers for a month. Like, I truly think that's her future. But maybe that's the darkest reading possible. But I just like, because I do think she goes back to the club both spiritually and literally at the end.
Right.
And just, you know, becomes like Sasha. He's a laugh.
But I also, yes, I think there's the larger, like, the indescribable desire to escape oneself, right? My favorite fucking SNL sketch of the last 10 years, which I cite all the time, is the Adam Sandler Romano Italy Tours one.
I fucking love that sketch where he's like, we will take you to a nice place. You will eat good food. That will not make you a different person. If you're sad where you are now, you will be sad there.
It is one of the greatest, like, genuinely pieces of art about depression I have ever seen. It is 1 minute of slow burn where he's just straight up naming the sights and the experiences. And then he goes, but I must restate, you will still be the same person you are at home, just in a nicer location.
So funny. I love that.
And he's like, you know, sort of like, we can give you activities to do with your wife. We can't help you know how to talk to each other. Like that kind of stuff. And there's this degree of like, if I'm perceived as a novelist, does that make me a different person? If I have money, does that make me a different person? If I go to a different place, if I take different drugs, if I'm with different people, and the thing she can't escape is like actually her inner life. The thing that Lynn Ramsey it knows how to bring like about cinematically better than anyone else is just like her headspace.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's really interesting. Like her last conversation with Lana is like, you know, when she's saying she's going to leave again, ask her to go with her. And my whole life is here. And it's like, there's the same crapness everywhere. So stop dreaming. And it's like, I always think like, I will always remember this time I hope my mom's not listening to me. I went to this music festival or not music. It was the Matador Records 21st birthday party in Vegas in 2010. And I had my equivalent of this in Vegas with like the Lana of my life and you know, had this mountaintop experience seeing like Guided by Voices and all these fucking bands and stuff. And then got back. I was living with my mom in Seattle at the time, or outside of Seattle, and Guided by Voices was on tour, and they were going to be playing in Seattle like the next weekend. And I was like, I think I'm going to go. And my mom was just like, you can't just do what you want all the time. Like, otherwise you will become a hedonist.
But even like, you might be a bad one though. I mean, because it's like, she is something of a hedonist in that she goes, she clubs, she has sex, she takes drugs. But like, there's no real sign of pleasure.
Yeah, but she's also searching, like the way, like Lana, you could say Lana does the same thing. But Lana is also very much...
Lana has a good time.
Lana has... Yeah, she has a good time, and she also has like a community. And it might... But it's like absolutely not what Morvern wants for her life at all.
And there's a
She's
balance.
searching for something.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Lana, there's some sort of like, okay, but at some time I gotta like resume real life. I understand I have to like play the game. She has that self-enforced, right?
Yeah. Like,
at some point I got to grow up.
It's Holiday for a reason because you've come back from it.
Right.
Like,
and then it's Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Which Morvern is like, how do I destroy Monday?
Yeah. I mean, she's the original Spring Breakers. Like, you know,
She is.
It is What If Spring Break, but forever. Like,
This is a better movie than Spring Breakers.
Although that is a great film.
It's a movie engine.
It's a great film.
but I would do a total double bill of these. Like, I would be a really fun double feature.
They pair up, like, absolutely. It was in one of the earlier quotes you read that she literally, like, talks about Lynn Ramsey hedonism as, like, this kind of defining cultural shift of, like, the use of drugs across generations, of it being this idea of, like, counterculture, political statement.
She says this, right? The 60s use of drugs is
psychological
political
expansion versus, like, self-punishing, internalized.
Yeah, and it's not about... You're not really... There's nothing to rebel against.
Someone
There's not.
from Warp Records, though,
Okay.
who saw this film, they screened it early for that.
Yeah.
Said it was like, this is like a modern day Easy Rider. And I do love that.
Yeah,
because Easy Rider is the sort of, 60s version of the like, hey man, let's just tune in, drop out,
But that feeling of like whatever they were fighting for in the 60s and 70s has settled into something else, and everything feels wrong, but it's not really clear what we should be pushing back against. There's not a clear target.
She thinks she should have pushed to black comedy more, although more recently for Die My Love, she was interviewed. And she's like, I rewatch it now. I saw it with an audience, like a young audience, and they were laughing and enjoying it. It made me feel good that it
This
like
movie
still
or Die
resonates.
My Love?
Morvern Callar.
Oh,
like
okay.
she was interviewed like for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like currently.
A retrospective
Currently.
screening while she was on the Die My Love press
Got it.
tour.
And she thinks like, oh, I pissed off the financiers. They wanted a different poster. I love the poster. Poster is like incredible poster. Like, they kind of dumped it. I was pissed off about it.
But it's a
at the
classic
time.
Lynn Ramsey thing of like, it got a bad release because they didn't like working with me because I didn't want the shitty poster, and it was all worth it because the poster's on my wall and I like it.
And honestly, yes. But I mean, yeah, I do think it's probably the funniest movie of her filmography. It's got the most jokes in it. And I think a lot of that is because it's so in touch with like youthful folly, I guess, which is like the oldest person way to say what I mean. But like, the thing with the dollar bill out of the pocket, like these sort of just like, you're just sort of figuring out how to scrape through life, and it's all embarrassing. Everything is mortifying for some reason. And it's all funny. It's inherently funny.
The film stock change happens when she goes to Spain, and hinges on that cab ride. And she said they had to reshoot the cab ride 7 times because they couldn't figure out the right way to process the film stock and working with the new material.
Does it change as soon as they get to Spain, or is it when they get on the cab and then go to the village?
We changed the film stock. I'm sorry, you're right. We changed the film stock for when Morvern decides to leave the hotel.
That's right.
So it starts on the cab ride when they venture outside
it's
of
very
the
noticeable.
resort.
Yeah.
It's so funny when her friend is like kind of high on E
she's
and is like rushed to leave and doesn't even put her clothes on. But then is like, what are you looking at, pervert?
That's like, I mean, that is the funny shit where it's just like the shamelessness, but also, everything is embarrassing.
Well, and there's this very like MTV Spring Break style like party scene where there's a woman there who is just like blotto, right? Who just like is not catatonic because of depression, but is clearly just on 10,000 things.
Yeah.
And you keep having the camera like pan across her against like guys like gyrating.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's the swimsuit swap thing on the pool, which is just like that long
like,
take.
push on her face.
It's so
I also love where you see like across the balcony, like there's 2 guys on balconies going like, "Bah, bah, And then there's someone in the big eye being like, I'm trying to sleep. And I'm like, why are you trying to sleep?
Why are you here then?
Go anywhere else.
I know. I feel so bad for all the old people they show in the lobby of that hotel. I'm just like, you are in hell. You should leave right now.
It does feel
Go
like you could just
quiet.
go down the road or
But
something.
Yeah.
In a movie without a lot of dialogue, the whole kind of like all the core themes we're talking about are summed up in the exchange in the back of the cab between Morvern and Lana, where she goes, where are we going? I don't know, somewhere beautiful. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, we're going to find a place that's beautiful. Like the next place will solve it. The next adventure will like solve it. You know, I just need to keep going forward to the next experience.
Do you think, my understanding is always that when she does that, she leaves with the intention of leaving Lana wherever they go, like from the outset.
You think that's planned, like leaving her on the side of the road with the note?
Yes. I don't know. That's always been my understanding of it, which is extreme. But like, I think it's like she makes some decision at some point. But it also could be that like the third time that Lana brings up fucking her boyfriend, she's like, okay, fuck this bitch.
I think it's like all improvisational.
Yeah.
I think it's all like instinctual moment to moment. And I also love that you imagine there's going to be some like bigger blow up with Lana if they reconvene at the end of the movie. And she's just like, yeah, of course, we were all like on spring break. You leave me by the side of the road. I found my way back home.
Yeah.
How much longer were you there?
It's like everybody bounces back. It's like your bones are still soft. You can kind of like bounce back from these fights with friends, or you know, your friend can tell you that her boyfriend is dead, and you're like, yeah, stop being so crazy. Like, you know, there's something. I was thinking about this in that conversation. There's another part. I wrote it down somewhere in this film and there's some of this in Die My Love too, where I think that so much of like, it's sort of Lynn Ramsey's approach to comedy, but it's like, it's also just kind of really good at conveying alienation. Is like, there's so many frustrated, like, non-responses to things, like things that should be these peak admissions or revelations or something. They never get the reaction that you think they should. And there's something that's so frustrating, but I think also very real about that. You rarely ever get those big cathartic moments where you finally tell somebody a secret you've been keeping for so long and they react appropriately.
Well, she keeps telling people like, my boyfriend fucked off. And she wants people to ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, and they never
clearly.
do.
And they just go like, yeah, sounds like the kind of thing, you know, he'd do. And then in the bathtub with Lana, there's like the real, like, I got to tell you. It's a funny subtitle moment because it's like translated phonetically into like some that's bad happen. But she goes like, what?
Bad.
And she was like, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Lana like won't hear her say it.
Yeah.
He's gone to another country, the undiscovered country, you know?
Because Lana is just like, fuck. It's something to do with me. Like, you know, everybody is so, you know, narcissistic.
Caught up in their own shit.
Yeah. That it never comes to that.
No one will like let her confess, which I think helps push her to being like, then why do I fucking have to live with guilt or trauma or grief about this?
Yeah.
I was just going to say the shooting the cab ride so many times, Lynn Ramsey said that like the taxi driver was like one of the highest paid people in the entire movie because they had to keep bringing him back.
Oh my God.
When they would like develop the film and be like, oh, we fucked it up.
Yeah.
And then go back and reshoot it again as they figured out what the visual look was for that final chunk of the film.
That's so wild.
And then the sex scene, she had never shot a sex scene before. And like got in there with them and had all these ideas of like, you know what I don't like in sex scenes?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to avoid that. But
more crying. Everybody should be crying.
Once you actually get in the room, she's just like, it's so awkward to like figure out and step through. And you find yourself falling into the same ways of shooting it. And she just sent the whole crowd of the room. And she was just like, it's just us and the camera and just like try shit. Just try stuff and like feel it out.
Am I trying shit with that dude?
Yeah, handsome guy.
It is a laugh line of its own where he opens the door and it's just like, oh,
I lost my mother.
I lost my mother. Okay, let's fuck. Oh my God.
This premiered at Cannes, but in Director's Fortnight.
I was going to say, it was going to be Ratcatcher, but in a certain regard. This was also put in a certain regard. Ramsey was pissed off by that, so she moved it to Director's Fortnight. She somewhat iconically married Rory Stewart Kinnear, the guy she co-writes We Need to Talk About Kevin with later, at Cannes, impromptu. Just, I guess, because she was a little sick of being at Cannes. And
they had to get out on a boat so they could like take advantage of maritime law.
Right.
It had to go far enough out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
It did the festival circuit. It gets distributed in the UK by Momentum. It released 2002. America, it got released December 2002 by a company called Cowboy Pictures.
Yes, right.
Don't really know
Truly
much about them.
Exist. Yeah.
It got great reviews, but made zero money.
Can I read this quote about the wedding? Because it's really good. So the captain does the ceremony. This is like a thing they offer a can. But you are legally required to be 12 miles out in international water. Not sure we got that far. During the ceremony, we hear screaming coming from an island and think that someone is being murdered. We look over and see a couple of naked ladies and a camera crew making a porno film.
Nice. Oh my God.
International waters porn. Yeah.
We have to ring the boat's bell to get them to shut up. It's absurd, straight out of a Fellini film.
That's incredible.
That just sounds like what her life is like on a daily basis. And I might enjoy it for a week and then be like, this is a lot. And I think she's chaotic, especially back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very interesting to me because this film came out Christmas time 2002, Griffin. And I was like, oh, a Christmas box office. Surely we've done this one before. I don't think we've ever done this one before.
Is this not Catch Me If You Can?
No, it is not.
Okay.
I guess that comes out
the following
week later.
It comes out literally on Christmas
Correct.
Day. Okay.
This is the first weekend of a little film that's a sequel in a fantasy trilogy. What could it be?
It's called The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
That's right. Never forget.
Treebeard.
Yeah, he's there. Now, Emily, you like the Lord of the Rings movies.
I do. That's the best one.
And that's your favorite, right?
That's the best one.
Is that, you'd claim that when we do PJ?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean,
no,
I
you want a different PJ.
I put in.
Oh, yes, you.
But I also would take that one as well.
But you enjoy Aragorn throwing open the doors and going like this.
Gondor calls for aid. Wait, no, that's Return of the King.
That's true.
You like putting on a pair of PJs.
I like the Last March of the Ents.
That's fun.
Some may say we march to our doom.
I like that one Ent who kind of like puts his head in the water.
Yeah, and douses it.
You know, because it's on fire.
It's
like
so
that
good.
guy.
I like
all about the Ents in that movie.
Yeah, anytime I rewatch that and the Ent sequence comes up where they start, I just start bawling. It's like it gets worse every time. Like with age, the Ents make me cry. I think I'm just like growing up into being an Ent eventually, and I just see my future in front of me. So.
Treebeard hasn't really worked recently. What's the last movie he did?
I heard he was on the Epstein list.
Oh, really?
Oh, shit.
Don't even joke.
I'm joking.
Also, it seems like he did 17 seasons of NCIS Miami.
Yeah, he's right.
He's the chief.
No, he's great. We love Treebeard.
Yeah, he's innocent.
the chief. You naval cops.
Clearly, he's still thinking about what his next film is going to be.
Right, he's indecisive.
Yeah, he's indecisive.
Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers is opening to $102 million, which is very good.
Wow.
In like a 5-day, I think. Like,
Yeah.
at least, but still.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay, that
hefty.
makes more sense.
Pretty hefty.
Yeah, it was quite a big hit.
Number 2 at the box office is a film that I very much enjoy. A romantic comedy.
It's not Gangs of New York. It's Kate and Leopold.
Incorrect. Gangs of New York, however, is number 4. We'll get to that.
It's not Kate and Leopold?
No, it is not.
Oh, because that's 01?
I don't know.
Well, David, you don't got to give me that attitude. Then is it 2 weeks notice?
Yeah.
They're the two you always cite.
I love 2 weeks notice. Mark Lawrence's 2 weeks notice with Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock and Donald Trump, unfortunately, is in that movie.
Was also quietly...
In which Hugh Grant says the word Pokemon.
Yes.
Beautifully.
Also quietly quite a big hit.
Huge hit.
Made
That movie
like
made $200 million worldwide.
Yeah.
That movie is, I really recommend. I really think that is the height of Sandy rom-coms. I think it's a really, really funny movie. And Hugh's obviously very, doing his thing very well. I
was going in a Simpsons hole last night and I rewatched a Fish Called Selma.
Sure. Great
Incredible episode. But there's the moment where the Jeff Goldblum agent calls Troy McClure and is like, and you got an offer for a buddy comedy with Christian Slater and Hugh Grant. And he goes, those degenerates.
It's funny.
It's a very funny snapshot. Oh, it's Christian Slater, Rob Lowe, and Hugh Grant.
Right,
yeah. Anyway.
Number 3 at the box office is a less successful rom-com, in my opinion.
Okay.
Falling from number 1. It's also set in New York City. It's Made in Manhattan.
Also, quite a big hit.
Yeah, big hit. No slouch.
A robust December.
Do you like Made in Manhattan?
Yeah. The thing I always
favorite
remember
movie of all
about that
time?
is like when I first moved to LA, I knew somebody who had worked on the crew in Made in Manhattan. I was like, wow, I really know some like people who are in
Glitz.
showbiz.
Glamour.
That's also like one of the most quietly stacked cast movies.
Sure, hit me. I mean, after Ray
Like
Fiennes,
Bob Hoskins,
Hoskins is there.
Tucci's
there.
Tucci's there. Chris Eigenmann is in it.
He sure is. Francis Conroy.
yes.
Natasha Richardson.
Yes.
That's about it.
Okay. Well.
No, Amy Sedaris.
Well.
I'm sure she's funny. I've seen the film. Don't really remember it. Number 4 at the box office opening new this week. You guessed it, Griffin. The disappointing opening of Gangs of New York.
There we go.
Which was much hyped and opened to only $9.4 million. It did stretch all the way
70?
to 77
Yeah.
domestic.
And it made like
cost
200
like what?
worldwide.
Correct.
How much? It costs like
I think it cost like about $100 million.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, but like at the time that was a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
obviously it's like a close to 3-hour, very violent epic. Like I adore that movie so much. I love the Mr. Scorsese stuff on it so much.
Yeah,
it's
it's
clear
good. Yeah.
that he does not really want to talk shit about it. It is mostly like, I'm mostly happy.
No, the part where he's
Um,
like, I had to like convince myself to stop thinking about
Right.
it. I was like, oof.
Right.
I can't even imagine.
Mr.
like,
Scorsese's great. I wish it was a year long.
I agree.
I wish
could
it
have done
was
with so much more.
4 episodes per movie.
But it's really well done.
It is. But it is interesting. There's always been this question of like, especially now that Harvey Weinstein is so thoroughly out of the picture. Harvey Weinstein, that like, does Marty not want to go back and like recut Gangs of New York? Because there was infamously so much interference there. And his thing has always been like, you can't rewrite the narrative of a movie. The movie that comes out is the movie the culture meets. I don't want to revisit my work.
yeah, I somehow feel like, if it's possibly your last project you're working on, maybe you would rather make another movie instead of. But that's how it came off to me, is that he was just like, gotta force myself to move
It
on.
also has always felt, yes, beyond that even like in the immediate aftermath, he was just like, I spent 20 years of my life tilting at this windmill. I'm proud of enough of it that I can't keep obsessing over trying to get this perfect.
Movie rocks. I've seen it so many times.
It's an okay film with incredible stuff.
Huge masterpiece. Completely rocks. Number 5 at the box office is a sort of a counter-programming solid hit for teens. It's been out for 2 weeks. It makes $56 million domestically and an additional $713 internationally.
Is it not another teen movie?
No.
Oh.
When you hear about the disparity, what does that suggest to you about the
Is
lead
it perhaps
of the film?
primarily a film with an African-American
Correct.
cast? And it's young.
Yeah. High school.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
You want to say it?
Drumline.
Nick Cannon in Drumline.
Oh, what a perfect movie.
I have not seen since 2002, but I remember it being a lot of
Oh,
fun.
I've watched it
Quite good.
a few times.
Number 6 at the box office, making only $3 million less than the opening weekend of Gangs of New York, is the opening weekend of the Wild Thornberrys movie.
Here's a box office stat I love. I think when Box Office Mojo still stood tall, and there was the chart for David saluting Red Hulk.
Maybe he'll bring it back.
There was the chart for lowest second weekend drops of all time. For a long time, Wild Thornberrys held the record because it went up
It goes up
a historic amount.
22%.
Wow.
Kind of a soft opening, and then the families just waited.
Time,
They
right.
waited for school to be out.
Totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it like did okay, but the second weekend jump was crazy.
Number 6 is Thornberry's. Number 7, of course, is The Hot Chick.
Of course.
Number 8, we covered it recently on this podcast, is the underwhelming Star Trek Nemesis. Number 9 is the somewhat underwhelming Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
And Star Trek Nemesis dropping hard. It was
very
number
hard.
2 the week before.
Yeah, it dropped
Crazy.
76%.
I saw like every single one of these movies except for Wild Thornberrys.
That's like a reverse Wild Thornberrys.
Same. And number 10, Die Another Day,
Mhm.
which has been out for a couple of months.
And
at
we've
this
also
point.
covered on our Patreon.
Yep. So, things are going well at the box office. Morvern is obviously a little lower on this list, opening number 56.
Okay.
But, 3 screens, 4,000 screen average. Okay, so not amazing.
It did feel like
It made less than $1 million worldwide.
it felt like there was a feeling of Morton having an outside chance for supporting actress this year for Minority Report. I feel like she wasn't getting precursors.
I agree
but she
with
kept
you.
being on the bubble list.
She was on a bubble list, but yeah, no significant awards for it, obviously.
And she hasn't been nominated since In America, but I feel like Control and The Messenger were both similarly bubble performances where she got on precursors.
She's good. I think her biggest performance post that boom is Longford, where she got an Emmy nomination, which is a TV movie, which she's fantastic in, playing Myra Hindley, a serial killer. And you know, she's in The Messenger.
I said right.
She's all right
she got
in
some
that.
precursors.
Yeah,
she's really good in that. Control, she's really good in.
Sure.
You don't like that movie?
I have mixed feelings about that movie.
I love that movie. I think she's really good in it.
What else does she kind of pop in? She's in Cosmopolis. I can't say I really remember that. Signectiki, we shouted out. She recently did that TV show, The Serpent Queen, which she was the lead of, which about Catherine de Medici, that I think was supposed to be kind of cool.
And she did Harlots, an early Hulu British co-production.
Yeah. And she is in Anemone, which is not a film I liked, but she's totally fine in it, playing the character's mom. And she's still working, but yeah, she's, it's a different kind of vibe than what you might have expected. But then, like, this is one of the best movies of the 2000s, but I don't watch it going, Samantha Morton is about to be a Hollywood movie star. I watch it going, like, what an interesting actor she is, and I hope she continues to do interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Which she kind of did.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. But you agree with what I'm saying of there was that feeling of that wave of UK actresses, and then I'll add Cate Blanchett into the pot in the late 90s and the early 2000s, where it was a feeling of, like, is one of these Meryl Streep? Is this the start of the next Meryl Streep, and which one is it?
Right.
And it does feel like Cate Blanchett won that race, at least in terms of
took her a while, but then
duration.
Right.
Yeah. She was in there. Emily, thank you so much.
Anything else, here. Emily, you wish to shout out?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It was funny. Like, this is, like I said, it's a very, very special movie to me. And I realized also going in, I don't think I ever wrote anything about it.
Right, because why would you? I guess like an anniversary, maybe.
Yeah, but no, it's still like not on anybody's radar. So I don't know. I feel very glad to get to finally talk about
on the
it
record
with somebody. Yeah.
You jotted down notes while we were watching the movie on my Fargo replica notepad.
I know you'll have to rub on it to see what I wrote. And it's just
It's a picture. It's a Draki Treehorn drawing of a guy's dick being bit.
Yeah, it's the guy from the hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I said this off mic, and I just want to make sure I get this on the record. This movie really made me miss being young, tripping on LSD so badly. Because old tripping just don't hit the same.
When you're old and tripping, it's because your fucking shoelaces are untied. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, you said it.
The walker gives out.
You said it, Buster.
You know what I'm saying? It's very different. It's a different animal.
That was so solid.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we also should just say, if you're struggling with depression out there, if you're having, thoughts about hurting yourself, contact somebody. There's 800 numbers. Reach out to a family member or friend.
Yeah, look, these are going to be more emotionally intense episodes.
Oh, Lord.
For this run. Yeah. I feel like we will try to...
Every single one is a trigger warning, I would say.
Yeah.
In this whole filmography.
Yes.
Yeah. But thank you.
And thank you for being here.
I wish I had something to plug, but everything that I'm working on won't come out until we're all like in our 50s.
Shogun will arrive on our screen.
It will.
Shogun season 2 is about to start filming. People will be happy to hear
I think it will be filming whenever this comes out.
Right. And if you haven't watched season 1, it's there for you on Hulu, and it is incredible. And Emily's episodes are incredible.
You can also plug the mortal engines, the abstract idea of them.
They are meanges, and
they're always there. I mean, they're actually not. They're made up, but they're always there.
They're immortal, so they're not always there. Yeah. They're not going to be there.
That's part of the tension.
Yeah. Tension. That's what we like.
It's London.
Tune in next week to hear us talk about We Need to Talk About Kevin.
That's right.
We need to do it.
We got to do it.
It's on the schedule. We need to talk about Kevin. And as always...
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Over on Patreon, we recently did an episode covering 28 years later, the Bone Temple.
Oh, can't wait to see them bones.
We've
so
heard.
Excited.
Good, thanks.
I can't wait to enter.
I hear it's good.
That's the Patreon
sequel.
franchise?
No, we're just doing that because we've done all the other 28.
Oh, okay. You're catching up.
Yeah.
And we might as well.
Yeah.
You can become a member at patreon.com/blankcheck.
Please do.
Yeah, and we're also doing the Oz movies.
Correct. We're in the middle of our Oz commentary series.
It's a funny contrast to do Lynn Ramsey and Oz at the same time.
I think it's good.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. What we're doing here is good and important. Tune in next week for Kevin. Well, now it's like hard to figure out like a good upbeat note to end on. I know we were trying to dig ourselves out of this hole. Maybe we just dig the hole deeper and put some G's in there. Oh, I'll let David sing.
For you, my babe. Bam, 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 bam. It's the best. That's all I got.
Cheeseburgers and orange juice in the club.